We appreciate you and the crew, and we welcome you to the 2021 American League Division Series presented by Good Sam. First home playoff game at Minute Maid Park since Game 7 of the 2019 World Series for the Astros and their fans, as it's a rematch of the 2005 Fall Classic in the ALDS. Welcome inside the broadcast booth. Adam Amin, AJ Przinsky, the World Series champion. Tom Verducci is with us as well. Great matchup. Let's start with the Houston Astros, who have made it to 4 straight American League Championship Series. This year, they were the #1 offense in baseball, at times maddeningly inconsistent, but when they blew teams out, it was Altuve and Correa at the heart of it.
Well, Altuve and Correa have been here forever, it seems like. They're the all-time leader in shortstop and second base, postseason games together. These guys have had huge hits in their postseason career. They've had huge home runs, walk-off home runs, memorable home runs that people will never forget. These two guys are the leaders of the Astros offense. Listen, the rest of the guys are good, but these two guys, especially in the postseason, are otherworldly. They're incredible, and they make the plays defensively, which is even better for Dusty Baker and the Houston Astros. If these guys go, the Astros go in the postseason.
On the other side for the Chicago White Sox, they only won twice against these Astros. They were swept in 4 games here at Minute Maid Park in June, but this is a team that has been building towards this. This is their first playoff series in the ALDS since 2008. This is a big deal for this young core.
Well, if you're a Chicago White Sox fan or a baseball fan, this is what the White Sox have been trying to do since 2016 when they started the fire sale. They got rid of Chris Sale. They got rid of Jose Quintana. They got rid of all of their veteran guys, most of them, and they brought in these stars, these young stars. Louis Robert, Jose Abreu was here, Eloy Jimenez. Most of these guys were brought in a trade or signed for this moment. This moment is the postseason. They are here to try to win the World Series. It's been a long time, 2005, but if this young lineup goes, they can do it.
We'll have some questions about the starting pitching as this series goes on, but it's going to be a Lance-on-Lance matchup. Believe it or not, this is the first time in Major League history that a Lance will start against a Lance in a regular season or a postseason game. It's McCullers for the Astros. It is Lynn for the White Sox. Game 1, 2021 American League Division Series. White Sox and Astros, the champions of the West and the Central. We got first pitch on the other side. Come on back to Houston. Start game 1 for the Chicago White Sox. It will be Lance Lynn going up against Lance McCullers Jr. For these two venerable managers, both in their 70s, the first time that a pair of septuagenarians will match up in the postseason with their clubs. They've met once in the postseason prior to the 2002 National League Championship Series with St. Louis and San Francisco. But Tom Verducci, today they meet again in the playoffs. They have met 208 times in the regular season, and they have split those meetings down the middle.
Well, this is a series for the ages. 77 and 72 to be exact. The ages of Chicago manager Tony La Russa and Houston manager Dusty Baker. The oldest such matchup in postseason history. Their history goes back 50 years when, as teammates, they played 1 game together for the 1971 Atlanta Braves. But time and competition have strained their friendship. At least 3 times their teams have been involved in bench-clearing incidents. Now, their differences are defined by their similarity, defense of their players, and the old-school unwritten laws of baseball. Together, they have managed 8,891 Major League games, 208 of those head-to-head, with both men winning 104 of those games. This series will split that tie and test, under the heat of playoff baseball, their friendship once again.
Both in the top 12 all-time in managerial wins. La Russa 2, Baker 12.
I define their relationship as competition. They want to beat the heck out of each other. We talked to both of them before the game today, and that's all they talked about. Yeah, we've had our issues in the past. They like each other. They won't admit it, but they like each other, but they just want to beat each other.
Well, let's take a look at Tony La Russa's starting lineup. It is brought to us by Good Sam. You just saw Tim Anderson, who has been one of the most consistent hitters in baseball the last few years. He's at the top. Yoan Moncada is at third. The DH is Jose Abreu. Will update you on his condition. There was a chance that he wasn't going to play in Game 1, but he is good to go. Yasmani Grandal in the cleanup spot. Luis Robert and Eloy Jimenez both joined the team in August and July. Gavin Sheets is a rookie. Adam Engel will get the start in right. And Leury Garcia, the super utility man, is at second base for the White Sox. Number 5 ranked scoring offense in the American League, just a shade under 5 runs per game, but they did not do a whole lot in a couple of outings against Lance McCullers Jr. this year. He was outstanding in a career season.
Well, Lance McCullers has turned himself into one of the best pitchers in the American League. You see his ranks there. The thing that makes him stand apart is his pitch usage. His breaking ball combination of slider and curveball is the best there is. The White Sox, the thing to watch for with the White Sox when they faced him twice this year, 0 for 19 off that combo. If Lance McCullers can throw the breaking balls over the plate, gets chases from the White Sox, it will be a long day for the White Sox offense.
White Sox are a good fastball hitting team and a decent changeup hitting team. The numbers go way down against breaking balls. There's a guy who likes to be aggressive at the plate, Tim Anderson. 2021 ALDS, away we go, and a slider to start from McCullers. And we're underway at 3:09 local time with the roof closed here in Houston. Time of the game, 3:09. That's Tim Anderson's average, 3rd consecutive year that he has hit above 300. Won the batting title a couple of years ago, finished second to DJ LeMahieu last year. A 1-0. Fouled away, and it's 1-1.
Interesting, McCullers' first pitch of the game, first pitch of the series, a breaking ball. Not 94 like he threw right there. He knows what Tim Anderson does on the first pitch a lot of times. He's ultra aggressive. McCullers tried to battle that first pitch slider.
The 28-year-old comes home with a 1-1. There's the fastball, and it's 1-2. McCullers just turned 28 last Saturday. The Tampa native with a 1-2. Check swing on the slider. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Tim Anderson. One of the hearts and souls of this Chicago White Sox team. Made his playoff debut last year against Oakland in the expanded playoff. But this is where it really feels bigger. 2-2. Slider, there it is. Gets the strikeout. McCullers starts with a strikeout, and he plays with one of the best defenses in baseball behind him. Michael Brantley, though, is a factor. He's been dealing with a knee issue in left. Jake Myers is a rookie. Kyle Tucker's had a great year in right field. This looks very familiar to Astros fans. Bregman, Correa, Altuve, and the batting champion Gurriel, and the veteran presence of Martin Maldonado catching Lance McCullers Jr. Switch hitter is Yoan Moncada batting lefty. He faces a shift and looks at a strike. One for 13 in the postseason last year, Moncada. Evens the count at a ball and a strike.
You mentioned last year the White Sox made the postseason in the expanded playoffs. Different field. No crowd last year. No fans.
Little roller back up the line and fouled.
Just complete different atmosphere. Now you're playing on the road in Houston, a team that expects to go deep into the playoffs with a full house. This is the test for the Chicago White Sox young team. Can they handle the pressure of playing in front of teams on the road with a crowd booing them? And that man right there, Tony La Russa, will help them get through it.
And Moncada, his home road splits were very drastic this season. He was much better at guaranteed rate field in Chicago. He struggled away from home. A 1-2. Golfs it the other way. Coming in is Brantley, tested early, and he's got it for out number 2. Today's broadcast also available in Spanish on Fox Deportes. So 2 up and 2 down for Lance McCullers Jr. And now he faces the reigning MVP in 2020, Jose Abreu. Just missed out on leading the American League in RBIs for a 3rd consecutive year. That's only been done once ever by Cecil Fielder in the 90s. Abreu has been dealing with flu-like symptoms, a non-COVID illness. It was confirmed it was not a COVID-related illness, but general flu-like symptoms. He did not travel with the team initially. He came late on Wednesday night after he was cleared to travel. He went through batting practice today. We did not get a White Sox lineup until an hour before first pitch. Abreu punches it foul, and it's quickly 0-2. He's in the lineup today, and I don't think there's any surprise by that.
No, there was no way. Jose Abreu is the undisputed leader of this White Sox team. There was no way he was going to miss game one of a playoff series, especially a short series. And Tony La Russa, when we talked to him, kind of gave us, oh, I don't know. You knew, Tony. Come on. You knew that this guy was going to play, and you need him.
A chance for a perfect first for McCullers. Upstairs. Lance Lynn waits. Knows this ballpark well, knows the Astros well, has not performed particularly well against Houston. McCullers has been really good against the Sox. A 1-2. There's that breaking ball down and away.
Just watch the movement on that slider. That's kind of a new pitch for Lance McCullers Jr. He was always known, if you've watched baseball, he had a curveball, and he pitched against the Yankees one time and threw like
24 straight.
24 straight curveballs. Now he's developed a slider to combat these righties. And you see the numbers. It has so much movement, so much horizontal break. It is hard for righties not to swing at it.
Back home with a 2-2 to Abreu. And the count runs full. So Abreu, being down 0-2, has worked it to 3-2. Yasmani Grandal if he reaches. Abreu fouls it away. Umpiring crew for this series: Adam Hammery gets the plate for game one. Tom Hallion's the crew chief at second base. And you got the line umpires as well: Fairchild in left, Barrett in right. A lot of postseason experience on this umpiring crew. Another 3-2. Slider fouled away. I mean, we're sitting, first off, we're very happy to be sitting here with these fans and watching this, but we're in our normal spot, essentially behind home plate. You can really get a good look at how much horizontal movement that pitch has.
It is incredible to see from our vantage point, directly behind home plate. You can see it starts out of his hand, looks like a strike, and just darts to our right.
Fastball in on the hands, punched out to Tucker in right, and it's a 1-2-3 first for McCullers. To the bottom of the first, the #1 offense in baseball coming. Bottom of the first, here's their #1 ranked starting lineup offensively in the major league, sponsored by Good Sam. Postseason hero many times over. Altuve leads it off. Brantley, one of the best hitters in baseball. Bregman is back from a quad. Alvarez, Gurriel won the batting title this year. Correa, a free agent to be. Could this be his last Houston playoff run? Tucker in the 7th spot. This is a deep lineup. Jake Myers, the rookie, and the veteran Martin Maldonado, all against Lance Lynn. You are going to see heavy fastball from Lance Lynn.
Well, the guy that throws the most fastballs in all of Major League Baseball, 92%. Against the guys on the Astros that hit fastballs better than anybody. Lance Lynn throws 3 different fastballs. He throws a 4-seamer, a sinker, and a cutter. They all 3 move different ways, and that's what he relies on.
And they're going up against the best fastball hitting lineup in baseball in the Houston Astros.
Yes, he's going to have to rely on control and location and put those fastballs in good spots.
Altuve quickly ahead in the count, 2-0, and this is a guy who loves to swing at fastballs. If you elevate one to Altuve, he'll pull one over to the Crawford boxes.
I was expecting him, if he got a strike first pitch, he was going to let it go. Fortunately, or unfortunately, depending on which side you're on, it was a ball low and away, never close. But now 2-0, be real careful here because he is going to be aggressive.
Much improved year for Altuve, who takes a strike.
But a perfect pitch. 2-0. Down and away, perfectly located by Lance Lynn to get back into this count.
Lance Lynn, 34 years of age, originally from Indianapolis. Went to college at Ole Miss in Oxford, Mississippi. Altuve bounces one foul, and it's 2-2.
Now that the top of the first is over, Adam, the Astros want to score here. They want to get the crowd involved. They want to put a little doubt in the White Sox heads. Hey, we can score on you. We can jump out on you early, especially at home. They don't want to wait around and let the White Sox hang around.
Altuve fouls it away. This was an Astros team that, yes, was #1 in baseball, 5.3 runs per game, 5th in the American League in home runs, but they beat up on teams in a lot of their victories. When games got a little close, it was a little more tenuous for Houston. So when this lineup is together, which they haven't been often, this is going to be a very difficult test throughout the series for the White Sox pitching staff. 2-2. Altuve reaches out and spoils a pitch.
The test also is this at bat we're watching right now. The Astros don't strike out. They usually put the ball in play. They put pressure on the defense, and if you're going strictly off defensive numbers, if you're a defensive analytics guy, the Astros have a huge edge in this series.
And one thing the White Sox are trying to avoid is to throw the ball around too much if the Astros continuously put the ball in play, which they do better than anybody. 7th pitch of this at bat is foul tipped into the glove of Grandal. A big strikeout for Lynn to start on Altuve.
A cutter slider, very similar to a McCullers type breaking ball, the way with all the horizontal movement. Lynn gets around that one a little bit more, a little bit lower velocity, 84, and he gets Altuve a little over anxious to chase for the first out.
That'll bring up Michael Brantley, who absolutely crushed right-handed pitching this year. Highest batting average against righties in baseball. Brantley will take a strike. Brantley's been dealing with some health issues throughout the season, though. He is just coming back from a knee issue, some right knee discomfort in mid-September. That ended up being kind of a mysterious ailment for Brantley, but he did return for the final 5 games of the regular season and did play left field on Sunday in the finale. Gets jammed and rolls it into the shift. Tim Anderson makes the play, and it's 2 up and 2 down against Lynn. AJ already mentioned the defense. This is a subpar defensive team overall, below average in efficiency, towards the bottom in percentage, but they did not have Jimenez, an improved defender, or Robert, a great defender, in center field for most of the year. Engels decent in right. Moncada, Anderson, Garcia getting the start at second, and Sheets at first with Abreu DHing, and Yasmani Grandal behind the plate.
Well, Robert in center can go get him with the best of them. Another thing to look out for in this series is the Astros will steal a base, and the White Sox allowed the most stolen bases in major leagues this year.
There's Alex Bregman. Bregman, another guy who dealt with injury and missed most of the year. 70-plus games he was out. Came back from a strained left quad in late August. Had a cold finish to the regular season. He's trying to get back on track. Hard hit, but into that second base area for Garcia, playing over. 1, 2, 3 for both pitchers in the top and bottom of the first. Fans back to their old tricks now that they're here for the postseason. Top of the second, and Yasmani Grandal leads things off against Lance McCullers Jr. Breaking ball for a strike. Grandal, since his return from a torn tendon in his left knee, he has been red hot. Waves through a fastball, and McCullers quickly ahead, 0-2.
He has been on fire since he fixed that knee. He's come back. He showed the numbers. He's also been more aggressive, swinging at more pitches than he did before that.
Aggressive here, and that McCullers breaking stuff is on point early. A couple of strikeouts already.
Another really good breaking ball. This is more of the true 12-6 curveball. Watch it go straight down. Grandal swings right over the top of it. That was the pitch Lance McCullers Jr. was known for. the first few years of his career. Now he's added the slider, and he's moved to a top of the rotation guy.
Here's Luis Robert. He likes to go after the first pitch, and the first pitch ends up hitting him. McCullers just missed on that one, and Robert will reach first the hard way.
McCullers thinks it's a foul ball. Robert's not acting like it hit his bat.
No. McCullers was on a roll through the first 20 pitches. That last one got away from him, and Robert, the subject of some concern now. Kind of ricochet too.
That was just a tracer in, sinker in. Robert sees it out of the hand, thinking he's going to go on it. That ball just traced in on him, like it got his right wrist,
yeah, kind
forearm area.
Kind of went through the left arm and got him on the back arm. Robert is one of the guys in this lineup that missed a long period of time. He had a major hip flexor issue in early May. Jimenez, who is going to come up in a moment, had the spring training injury of his left pectoral trying to make a defensive play. He has returned with Robert past the midway point of the year. Grandal's been back for the last month. All three are going to have big series against this very potent Astros lineup. Robert will stay in and take first base as the game's first base runner. So that'll bring up Eloy Jimenez. Tough close to the season. He came back and was on fire in August. At one point, he had a 13-game hit streak going after he debuted in late July, coming back from the pectoral injury, but numbers not great to close the year. Starts him off with a slider that just tails off the plate. This is not a White Sox team that steals a lot of bases. I'll be curious to see if they're any more aggressive than they were in the regular season. But Robert is a guy that has elite level speed.
Usually when a guy gets hit by a pitch too, they want to steal right away, just to show the pitcher, hey, I'm okay.
The other factor to that, and you know this as well as anybody, AJ, the guy behind the plate who has handled the battery so well. Martin Maldonado was one of the best in baseball at cutting runners down. Only Will Smith of the Dodgers cut down more attempted runners on the base paths this year.
Well, Maldonado's definitely behind the plate because of his defense, and you don't get a nickname like Machete without having a cannon for an arm and cutting down runners.
A 1-1. Staying away from Eloy Jimenez, who's got prodigious power at his best. 10 home runs in 55 games this year.
And the reason you see Lance McCullers Jr. and Maldonado so many breaking balls, the numbers for these White Sox hitters, fastball, hard stuff versus breaking balls, are so different. I mean, the numbers for almost all these guys, their OPS, their slug, their average fall so much when you start throwing breaking balls. That's why McCullers has had success, and that's why you see so many breaking balls early from the Astros.
Jimenez lifts it in the air. It'll be Tucker in, and Robert back to the bag at first, 2 away.
This ball just runs away from the barrel. You see Jimenez try to go out and get it. He can't wait long enough. The break not only fools him, but the speed of the pitch fools him. That's why he hits it off the end of the bat, and it's just weak contact that McCullers is looking for. He gets a lot of fly balls because he throws so many breaking balls, and because guys are mistiming it out in front. And when you're out in front, you tend to hit a lot more weak fly balls.
So here's the rookie Gavin Sheets in his playoff debut, with a runner at first and 2 out in the second. Robert goes. Maldonado fires. Here we go. Tag is in time. Maldonado does it again.
An absolute cannon from Martin Maldonado, and yeah, we'll give a little shocker to the crowd, but watch the footwork and just perfection for the third out.
And welcome back to Minute Maid Park. Houston Astros manager Dusty Baker kind enough to join us as Lance Lynn retakes the mound here in the third inning. Dusty, you've seen a lot of catchers in your day. Talk about the strength of pitchers' arms and the footwork of outfielders, but how about the skills of Martin Maldonado behind the plate?
Well, he's not called Machete for nothing, you know, because if you give him a chance, he'll throw you out. And the thing about it, he takes pride in it. He takes pride in leadership. You know, he's one of the best leaders that I've seen on the field. But he works at it, and he takes pride in it.
Lance McCullers told me he's been waiting for this day for 3 years since Tommy John surgery, not just to get back into the postseason baseball on the mound, but the Game 1 assignment. It's early, but what are the first impressions about how he's handling the assignment?
Well, so far, I'm telling you, he's looking great. You know, I'm never worried about him being nervous, and he's always composed. I told him when the season started, well, actually in spring training, I said, hey, man, I want you to be my pick to click, and you got a good chance of starting Game 1, and here he is.
Dusty, thanks so much.
All right, you're welcome.
Back to you.
Tom, thank you so much. Thanks, Dusty, for his time. 2 balls and a strike on Yordan Alvarez facing Lance Lynn to start off the bottom of the second. 3-1. ...104 RBIs for Yordan Alvarez this year. He hit both right-handers and left-handers very well. It was a really strong offensive year for Yordan Alvarez. 3-1. Fouled away, and the count runs full to start the inning. Dusty talked about Martin Maldonado's fundamentals. What do you like?
Perfection. Watch his footwork. He gets his weight on his backside, finishes the throw, and he knows it as soon as he lets it go. Watch his footwork. He's in perfect line to second base. He gets the back leg around like a pitcher, finishes it, and then, yeah, he gives love to the Houston crowd, and they give it right back to him.
Eliminated the first base runner of the game. Payoff to Alvarez is low. And now the Astros have their first base runner. It's Alvarez with a leadoff second inning walk. That'll bring up the American League batting champion in Yuli Gurriel with a man on base. Dusty Baker sat Yuli Gurriel on the final day of the regular season and then brought him up late in the game on Sunday against Oakland and thought, oh no, what's going to happen to the batting title? He's only going to increase his average by a point with a walk-off. 319 for the year. We have 3 of the top 4 hitters in the American League in this series. And that one's lashed foul by Gurriel. 0-1.
This guy has become a great hitter with his work, his preparation, but I like watching the way he handles his at-bats and the way he watches what pitchers are trying to do to other guys, and then he puts it into his at-bat. This guy is one of the most clutch, best strike breaking ball hitters I have ever seen. If you get into a situation and you have to throw him a breaking ball, it better not be in the middle of the plate.
Fastball in on the hands. 2 strikes now on Gurriel. So naturally, when you're the batting title holder, you probably have pretty good splits. Nobody hit better with 2 strikes in Major League Baseball than Gurriel. It goes back to the point you made about how tough these Astros at bats are. You see the highest average with 2 strikes among hitters with at least 100 PAs. Got 3 of them in this series.
And to be in the 280s, it's normally in the 150s.
Well, I mean, look, he just brought his hands in, almost like a cricket player was able to bat it down the line foul just to stay alive in the at-bat.
And to add to that 2-strike damage that he does, he also led the league in OPS with 2 strikes, but that ball might have hit him in the front hip if he didn't swing it, or the back knee, but he brings his hands in, gets there quickly. See, now Lynn has him set up for that slider that he threw Altuve. If he starts it for a strike, sweeps it off the plate away.
2. Bouncing ball will bounce foul. So 4 straight pitches fouled by Gurriel. to start this at bat. Gurriel, by the way, among all of the accolades and numbers he's put up, he is 37 years of age. He's the oldest player to win his first batting title since Barry Bonds won his first in 2002 at age 39. You got a 37-year-old who's only been better as he's gotten older. That one up and in, and it's 1-2. Lynn having to work against Gurriel.
But again, this is what the Astros do. We saw it with Altuve. Yes, he struck out, but he made him throw a bunch of pitches, right? Michael Brantley pitches. Now even Gurriel here down 0-2, but guess what? He's fouled off a few.
And now it's 2-2.
And now he's back in the count at 2-2. This is what makes the Astros so tough. They do not give at bats away. They usually do not strike out on 3 pitches. They just grind until you make a mistake. And these hitters, they usually take advantage when you do make that one mistake.
Alvarez at first. And he got him with a fastball at 97. Lance Lynn ramping it up and elevating it to get the strikeout of Gurriel. Nobody had more strikeouts on fastballs in baseball than Lance Lynn. No surprise when you throw the most too.
Well, this was just an angry fastball right here. Lance Lynn was tired of seeing Yuli Gurriel. He's like, I'm going to throw this one as hard as I can up. And Gurriel chases. You see the look on his face. He's like, oh, how did I swing at that? But nice pitch by Lance Lynn with some anger behind it.
One away for Carlos Correa. This is the 6th hitter in the Astros lineup. One of the best known names in baseball, free agent to be. He'll be the youngest shortstop on the market. Houston offered him a couple of contracts for 5 years, 6 years. Obviously some major money, but he's going to test the free agent market. And he is going to be sought after. But before that, he's got a playoffs to play, and he has been one of the best hitters in an Astros uniform in the playoffs during this last 5-year run. Punches it through the hole on the right for a base hit. Alvarez will take a turnaround second. Engel got to it fast. The ball deflects over to Lynn. It's 2 on with 1 out for the Astros in the second.
Great piece of hitting here by Carlos Correa. Just gets a fastball. We'll say that a lot with Lance Lynn, but he just gets a fastball up, and the whole right side of the field is open. He takes what the defense is giving him, slaps that ball to right field, first and second, first opportunity for the Astros.
So again, that's the 6-hole hitter that just reached in Correa. And now you get to the guy in the 7 spot who has had one of the best years that I think has gone a little unheralded, because on a lot of other teams, Kyle Tucker, who was red hot as anybody to close the year, would probably be starting on a lot of major league teams and hitting in the 3 or 4 spot. This guy's in the 7-hole for this deep lineup. And he's got 2 on with only 1 out. First pitch swinging towards the gap. Robert over, and he got a good beat on it, as he often does. Alvarez took off from second, and he's going to get in with heads-up base running. Correa stays at first. It's runners at the corners with 2 out.
Lynn jams Tucker here with this first pitch. He gets in on him, a little cutter, in on his hands. But his first hit, there was a possibility of it falling, but the outfielders of the White Sox converging. Let's give credit to Alvarez. This is great base running. He wasn't going to go. He saw Louis Robert kind of just nonchalant it, not get around it, not stop him. So he takes the extra 90 feet to third base.
Two on, 2 out. And how about this? For your playoff debut, young man, Jake Myers from Omaha, Nebraska, gets added to the ALDS roster and gets the start in his playoff debut. And he's got an RBI chance in the second against Lance Lynn. First pitch is high and away.
Lance Lynn attacks guys I know it's only the second inning here, but you have Martin Maldonado, who had the worst batting average in all of baseball this year. Myers is a rookie, and it's his first career playoff at bat and all that. But I would still be a little careful if I'm Lance Lynn right here, because this guy can do a lot more damage. You think, you never know, than the guy on deck can, Maldonado.
6 home runs for Myers. Well, that's a pitcher's pitch from Lance Lynn to get a key strike to even up the count. Major League OPS average was about 730. Myers, as a rookie, granted in limited duty, was at 760. So already out of the gate, well above average. Minor League Player of the Year in the Astros organization this year. Astros had a hole in center field left by George Springer. They've needed multiple guys to fill it. On the hands and into right. Welcome to the big leagues, Jake Myers. Your first playoff at bat, drives in the first one of the series.
Another great piece of hitting here by Myers. Lynn misses location up and in, but watch the way Myers gets his hands inside the ball, shoots this ball to the right, down the right field line. First and third, 1-0 Astros. Just a great piece of hitting by the rookie.
'13th round pick 4 years ago by the Astros. Here's Maldonado. Going after the first Lynn fastball he sees. 0-1. First career at bat in the postseason is an RBI for Jake Myers, who debuted on August the 1st. Correa took third base. And now 0-1 on Maldonado, who has not hit well this year. You see the average, worst in baseball, but is 7 for 14 with a home run against Lance Lynn. 1-1. You talked about it earlier, AJ. If you're the Astros, you're trying to get a bunch of runs, get a crooked number. It is imperative for Lance Lynn to get out of this inning with only 1 across.
I just felt like the Astros, it was much more important for the Astros to get ahead and put the pressure on the White Sox, get the crowd involved, get their confidence going. The White Sox were in the playoffs last year, and we discussed the difference. But they lost. The Astros, remember, they were down 3-0. They finished under 500, made a run, almost made it to the World Series after that year. So the Astros expect to win. They expect to jump on top of the White Sox. The White Sox lost last year in the first round. They don't have any playoff success as a unit. So the Astros want to jump on them and just keep that pressure mounted on them, keep it on top of them, especially with Lance Lynn, their ace on the mound.
Big strikeout for Lynn, and he is fired up. Leaves a pair stranded, but Jake Myers breaks the scoring seal. Correa loves it. Altuve loves it. 1-0 Astros.
Well, welcome back to Minute Maid Park. Lance McCullers back on the mound. We're joined by Chicago manager Tony La Russa. 10 years ago in the postseason, Tony, you gave the ball out of the bullpen to Lance Lynn. Tonight, he's your Game 1 starter. That last inning, Houston goes the other way, twice on cutters. What have you seen early on from Lance?
Well, I've seen the punch outs, so I see he's throwing the ball well. You know, sometimes it didn't quite get a location. They're good hitters, but I always like the way he competes, and he's throwing the ball well.
Real quick, we saw Luis Robert get hit by the pitch. Any lingering concern there?
Yeah, when you get that area, there's so many bones. He says he's okay. They're checking him around now, and he's been crazy. He's hitting 3-something. That's a tough break for us, but hopefully he's okay.
Tony, thanks so much for your time. Back to you, Adam.
Tom, thank you very much. We appreciate Tony La Russa's time. Gavin Sheets, the rookie, leading things off for the White Sox here in the top of the third. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Sheets, who was at the plate when Luis Robert was cut down trying to steal second. 2-2. Backdoor breaking ball. That was nasty. Third strikeout for McCullers, all on breaking pitches.
Backdoor Breaking pitch, like you said, curveball. Starts as a ball away, comes back to the plate. Watch how far this ball starts away. You give up on it as a left-handed hitter. It comes back over the plate. Adam Hamari rings him up. Another punch out for McCullers on a breaking ball.
So one away for Adam Engel. And therefore a strike on a slider.
We said at the beginning of this game, Adam, the key was Lance McCullers. Can he throw his breaking ball for enough strikes? So far, through 2 1/3, he has done nothing but pinpoint both breaking balls to righties and lefties. And if he's able to continue to do that, it's going to be a long day for these White Sox hitters.
One. Back to the mound. McCullers clean to first. That's the first ground ball out for Lance McCullers Jr., who has been a fairly good ground ball pitcher, but it's the first one of the night. It's 2 up and 2 down, though, here in the third. The minimum faced so far through 8 batters. And that'll bring up the 9-hitter, Leury Garcia. And this is a tough matchup for Garcia because he really struggles against the breaking ball.
He does. And McCullers has been great. He's been getting ahead, kind of jumping ahead with early get-me-over breaking balls and throwing some fastballs to jump ahead. But when he needs to put a guy away, he goes to that nasty slider.
Shift is on for Garcia, switch hitter, batting lefty. He takes the first pitch. So one time through the order, and outside of a couple of guys in the White Sox lineup, they're really not going to swing at the first offering. Nobody swung at the first pitch the first time through the order against McCullers.
Well, I expect that to change second time through. They're
Sure.
not going to wait around.
There's a strike.
They don't want to get to the breaking ball.
Right.
So if you're hitting off Lance McCullers Jr., the first fastball you see, like right there to Garcia, you should be firing on that ball. That was a decent pitch, middle half of the plate. But if you're Garcia, that's the one I want to hit.
You get deeper into counts, and in particular pitchers' counts, you're not going to see a whole lot of fastballs unless Lance McCullers Jr. really wants to throw it at a spot that he wants to throw it at.
Well, if he gets ahead of you 0-2, 1-2, and he wants to throw a fastball, he's going to try to elevate it, throw it off the plate, but he's going to go to a breaking ball to put you away.
There's a breaking ball there, and he clips the edge of the strike zone. 2-2. Chance for another 1-2-3 inning. Down and away. Count runs full on Garcia.
That breaking ball right there, 2-2. He just got out in front of himself. He rushed it. He tried to make it a little bit better than the one he threw the pitch before. Body gets out in front, arm drags. That's why you see him leave it away from the left-handed hitter instead of burying it on his back foot.
Garcia trying to get a board for Anderson. Back at the top. Payoff pitch to Garcia. Breaking ball is rolled foul. Leury Garcia, the ultimate utility man. He has started at 6 different defensive positions this year with all the slew of injuries that the White Sox had at multiple positions. And not just Grandal and Robert and Jimenez, but Anderson missed time and Garcia filled in for him. Moncada misses a couple of games. He fills in at third. Mostly second base this year. That's where he's at for this game 1. A 3-2. Hard hit, but into the shift. Correa makes the play. Another 1-2-3 McCullers Jr. inning. Back to the top of the Astros order. Altuve will lead things off in the bottom of the third. Astros lead it 1-0. Jose Altuve will lead things off in the home third as we get a look at Brantley on deck. Bregman will follow in this inning against Lance Lynn. Altuve takes ball 1 as we get a look at his player resume, sponsored by Indeed. Been a very productive career, obviously, for Altuve. 60-plus playoff games for this Astros roster going back to 2017. Lashes one foul. career high home run numbers this year for Altuve. He had 31 this season, and that was with 0 home runs in August. So we talk about this Houston offense. We said it's the best offense in baseball overall, but they scored a lot of their runs in bunches. They blow teams out. At their worst, they were incredibly inconsistent, and I think that number, even though Altuve had a decent month hitting, that number kind of spells out the epitome of this offense.
For him to have 31 home runs and have 0 in a calendar month really is, if he would have hit 5 or, I mean, he could have a chance at 40 home runs this year. And listen, this guy is a possible Hall of Famer down the road with the number of hits he's accumulated, the MVP, the All-Stars. He's already got a World Series title. The big hits he's gotten in the postseason. Everyone remembers the home run off Chapman he hit.
2-2.
This guy really has done it all in baseball, and he is the consummate professional, especially in that batter's box.
4th all-time in Astros history in hits. The names like Biggio and Bagwell are ahead of him, as well as Jose Cruz. Former Astros are in the house, right on cue. Astros have gotten used to this, as you mentioned. They've been to 4 straight American League Championship Series. The White Sox are in their first run of back-to-back postseason berths ever. And of course, last year was through the expanded playoff with 16 teams. This year, they're in their first league division series since 2008 when they lost to the Rays.
Just got to keep bringing that up, don't you, Adam?
Was somebody on that team? Well, to make it feel better, the last series win for the White Sox was, of course, the 05 World Series here in Houston.
Let's talk about that a little bit more. I just want we showed.
I'm sure everybody's going to be very excited to hear about it, as at least half our audience will be.
We showed Jeff Bagwell and Biggio. Do they flip a coin? Who gets to sit
who gets
in
the front row seat? Yeah. Who gets the second?
Apparently, Jeff Bagwell won, and Craig Biggio
gets it next time, I guess. I don't
tomorrow.
know. They alternate. Payoff to Altuve. Bounced foul. Another one of those longer at bats. He had 7 pitch at bat in the first before striking out. This one's 6 already. Should say 7 on this one as well.
Will Lance Lynn dare try to throw him that breaking ball he threw him to punch him out his first at bat, the one that's a ball, to try to get him to chase? Will he be able to do it?
Went fastball away, and Altuve laid off, so he is aboard to lead off this 3rd inning with a walk. So Lance Lynn, as you mentioned, it was kind of a question mark as to who would take the ball in Game 1, at least publicly. But it's Lance Lynn getting the ball, of course, in 2011, the season he made his Major League debut for the Cardinals. Tony La Russa was his manager. Pitched in that World Series. That epic Game 6 comeback for St. Louis was in Game 7. He's pitched in big moments. This is playoff appearance number 27 for Lynn. Start number 8. The first one came with La Russa, the latest appearance with La Russa. Here's Brantley showing bunt, trying to take advantage of the shift. The charge in, and the throw is in time. White Sox have to recover to the bag at 3rd. Moncada made the play. Altuve will take second base. Astros trying to put pressure on this White Sox defense that has been maligned at times this year.
Great play by Moncada. No one was more surprised, I think, than Moncada that Michael Brantley tried to bunt. Been such a good hitter, but he covers so much ground. He's not even in the frame. He's playing at regular shortstop. The only thing that saved him was the ball was into Michael Brantley just enough where he couldn't get out of the box right away, so it held him up. But what a play by Yoan Moncada to get the first out for the White Sox.
Very close by a half a step. Moncada will make it breathe a little bit harder with some of the throws, but his glove has been rock solid. When his arm is on point, he can make some incredible defensive plays. Man in scoring position after the sacrifice. Here's Bregman going after the first offering. Lynn took a little off of that one.
Again, the thing that made that play for me, Adam, was the pitch was in off the plate. So when Brantley bunted it, he took a quick pause, and that was the difference between him getting a hit and him being out by a great play by Moncada. You can see him, he's saying, why did I try and bunt? Like, it's the worst feeling as a hitter.
0-2.
So here's the pitch. Watch how far in this pitch is. See him kind of have to jump back.
Right.
That was the difference between him being out and him being safe. And then as a hitter, you try that and you're bunting for a hit and you get thrown out and you're scratching your head saying, why did I try and bunt? I just wasted an at-bat.
Altuve and Garcia share a moment at second. Bregman has hit a couple of home runs off Lynn in his career. He'll take one off the plate. 1-2. Bregman hit over 300 with runners in scoring position in his limited duty. He's got a man at second and one out. The rookie Jake Myers delivered in the second to give the Astros the lead. That one gets away from Grandal and onto third base easily will go Altuve.
Tough play for Grandal, but we've mentioned the defense for the White Sox. They also lead the league in wild pitches and pass balls. That's a tough one. He just doesn't get his body square to the ball, hits his chest protector, kicks away, and now the Astros have a runner on third and less than 2 outs, where a sac fly is an easier way to score a run than having to get a hit. And I'm surprised the infield's not in right here, Adam, with 2 strikes.
Yeah, they're playing a little further back than I would have expected for Bregman, who's a great contact hitter. Now they charge in. Bregman swings and bounces it foul.
The old, is it Bobby Valentine used to have the Mets do that? He kind of made that the cool thing. You see Bregman laughing, but only the second baseman Garcia charged. Tim Anderson did not charge. He stayed back. So if I'm Bregman, I'm thinking, okay, ground ball to shortstop. We're up 2-0. Getting high fives in the dugout.
Garcia in from second again, and the pitch is inside. 3-2 on Bregman. Well, Lance Lynn has had to work through 2 of the 3 batters at the top of the order. 3-2 the count. Three-two. On the ground to third. Moncada coming home with the ball. The play. He is safe. 2-0 Houston.
Well, a gutsy decision by Yoan Moncada at third. He slides to his left. Apparently he's safe. You see Tony La Russa say play on, but the pause. He pauses just for a second because of the slide. Altuve gets around Grandal. Gutsy decision. Nice. I mean, what a slide. Wow. Incredible slide. Incredible camera work by our guys. See him get around. Grandal tries to block the plate. Altuve gets around, beats the throw. Great baseball play, great hustle, great read by Altuve. Great play by Moncada, obviously, to make it that close.
Well, Bregman ends up with an RBI fielder's choice. Still only 1 out. And here is Yordan Alvarez.
The slide is the reason he's safe. That little hesitation when he slid. Other than that, it's a perfect play, and he deserves it. He's made 2 great plays in this inning. 1 for an out, 1 for a fielder's choice, where the Astros scored their second run.
Altuve with a brilliant slide, and it adds to the lead. Close pitch, but a little low for Hammerie's taste behind the plate. 2-0 on Alvarez, who walked and scored the first time up. Lance Lynn has issued 2 walks. Both of those men have come around to score for Houston.
And both leadoff walks.
That's right.
In back-to-back innings, he's walked a leadoff guy, and those are the 2 runs on the board for the Astros.
Alvarez sends one to left center field. Robert on the move, looking up, and it is in play. That'll score Bregman. It's a double for Alvarez, and it's 3-0 Astros in game 1.
Well, Lance Lynn's troubles here at Minute Maid Park and against these Astros continue. He falls behind in the count to Alvarez. He has to come into him. He throws a 94-mile-an-hour fastball right down the middle, and Alvarez just misses a home run because of where he hits it in the park. But because of where he hits it in the park, Alex Bregman scores easily, and the Astros are up 3-0.
You see how close it came. It was under that yellow line and to the left of the vertical line. According to the ground rules, that is in play.
Well, if that ball's 2 feet to the right, it's 4-0 Astros instead of 3-0.
Or maybe 2-3 feet higher, it might get out over the higher wall in left center.
Well, that's the problem with Lance Lynn against this team. If he falls behind and he has to come in to the center of the plate, this team usually does not miss those fastballs.
Now the White Sox bullpen will start to stir with only 1 out in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Ronaldo Lopez grabbing a baseball, the right-hander who has started and worked out of the bullpen in his career. Here's Yuli Gurriel. 34 years of age against 37 years of age in this matchup of veterans.
And the reason Lopez is up, if this were a regular season game, Tony La Russa say, hey, Lance Lynn, you're my horse. Get through it. Give me 3-4 more innings. But the White Sox can't afford to fall behind anymore to these Astros, especially with the way Lance McCullers Jr. is pitching. Tony La Russa has to try to stop this quickly and stop it now to try to give his team a chance in this game.
You mentioned the issues. Lance Lynn's numbers against the Astros have not been good in his career. They have not been good at Minute Maid Park, but the last 5 starts against Houston, 0-5 with a near 9 ERA. They've just had his number, and again, part of that is the matchup. Fastball. 3-0.
And we were here for his start in June, and it was a very similar start to this. He wasn't exactly perfect with his location. He fell behind some guys. They made him pay. Today, kind of the same thing. 2 leadoff walks score. Falls behind Alvarez 2-0. Has to come to the middle of the plate. Whack. Double. 3-0. So it's kind of almost like a mirror image.
Comes back with a strike on Gurriel here.
And I'm surprised Gurriel didn't have the green light right there. The crowd's up into the game. He's a batting champion. He knows the strike zone. 3-0. You're going to get a good pitch from Lance Lynn. Instead, he takes one right down the middle.
That's the start in mid-June when the White Sox were swept by the Astros here at home. It was his 2nd worst start of the year, earned run-wise. Gurriel fouls it back, and it's 3-2. Gurriel is the opposite of Lynn. The way Lynn has struggled against Houston in his career, and obviously he's been at a couple of different stops, Gurriel's numbers against the White Sox have been very impressive. 385 lifetime against the White Sox. Tied for the highest all time. 3-2. Got him. Boy, that is a clutch off-speed delivery from Lance Lynn. And a key strikeout for the 2nd out of this 3rd inning. Only throws the changeup about 5% of the time, throws a curveball about 3%. That's about it.
Well, this is more of a true slider than a cutter. The velocity was a little bit down. He just pinpoints it down and away to Gurriel. The last thing he probably was looking for was a slower cutter / slider in that situation. 3-2. And if he puts it in a perfect spot, nobody can hit that.
Gurriel retired, 2 away for Correa. Goes after the first offering. Moncada with the play. He was heavily involved in that frame. 2 across for Houston in the 3rd. The impressive slide to negate the great Yoan Moncada play. Alvarez delivered the 2nd run. It's 3-0. To the 4th we go, a 3-0 Houston lead, and Tim Anderson will take ball 1 from Lance McCullers Jr. One of 3 strikeout victims the first time through the order against McCullers. Struck out on a slider swinging to open up the game. Tim Anderson, we've talked about it. I think a lot of people got a first look at him during the Field of Dreams game, right? He hits the walk-off home run against the Yankees, the wonderful scene. You saw the "it's over" from Tim Anderson, excited, celebrating. When it's that swagger, it's that confidence. Some would say, I think around the league, some other teams have talked about cockiness, but I think that translates to confidence for the guys in this clubhouse. And Anderson is by far at the heart of that. He and Jose Abreu have handled the clubhouse very well this season, with Tony La Russa, the 77-year-old, taking over as manager. He's kind of given those guys leeway to handle things in the clubhouse, and that is key for this White Sox team to reach where they have.
Well, Jose Abreu is the leader of the team, and Tim Anderson is the leader of the swag on the team. He brings a style and energy. He's contagious if you're around him for 5 minutes.
One of the questions about the hiring of Tony La Russa was going to be, well, how is he going to relate to these younger players, these guys that have all this confidence and that want to play the game with energy and passion, a little bit flair, a little bit of personality. I mean, there have been some speed bumps this year for sure, but overall, it seems like it has meshed quite well. Anderson to Correa, the 2 shortstops, 1 away. So 10 batters have come to the plate. The minimum has been faced by McCullers through 4+.
Well,
3+.
Yes, that was the question mark with La Russa because of his age, and everyone remembers him as kind of a old school, gritty, I'm going to throw at your guy, and if you throw at my guy. But he's really fit in. I know he's let the players be themselves, and like you said, Abreu and Anderson and Lance Lynn, too, have taken control of that clubhouse. But he's adjusted. He's let these guys, hey, have their chains and have their dances and have their handshakes and all that, and he's fit in. And I think we showed a photo. We did a game earlier. We showed a photo. There was a photo out of Tony La Russa kind of with his hat on sideways and kind of smiling and laughing with the guys. Like, that's what he's done. And he's instead of him saying, hey, players, adjust to me, I'll adjust to you. And that's why they're where they're at.
I think this is the one you were thinking about when they were wearing the South Side jerseys, too.
Yeah, I love those uniforms. Are outstanding, by the way.
Nice backdoor breaking ball from McCullers to get a 2nd strike on Moncada.
But yeah, most guys think, all right, Tony La Russa, he's not going to change his ways. He's stuck in his ways, but he has made adjustments.
Hard hit ball from Moncada, and he's got the first White Sox base hit of this game. It's a 1-out single in the 4th. That'll bring up Abreu.
McCullers' reaction is because he's thinking, why didn't I just throw another slider and punch him out? He tried to sneak a fastball by him, and Moncada laces it up the middle for the White Sox first hit.
So he's aboard for the reigning MVP. Flew out his first time on an 8-pitch at bat to close the 1st inning. It's a double play situation. Abreu has led the majors in double plays hit into the last 3 years. Post pitch goes Abreu's way, 1-0.
Long-time pitching coach for the White Sox, Don Cooper. He used to always say when you fell behind 3-0 or 4-0, early in a game, he'd always tell the pitcher, we have to be the next team to score, meaning the White Sox. This is a situation where the White Sox have to score before the Astros score again, because once you get to 4-5, the mountain becomes too big to climb, right? So they need to score next to give them a chance in this game.
Comes back with a strike, does McCullers, 1-1. Well, this is certainly a lineup to do it at its best. It's hard to gauge what the White Sox offense is because even for somebody like McCullers, he didn't see Luis Robert. He didn't see Eloy Jimenez during those 2 series in June and July. So it was a much different looking roster for really both teams. Bregman didn't play the first time around for Houston. So everybody's kind of learning a little bit what these lineups are constructed like in this setting. 1-2 on Abreu.
Grandal wasn't what Grandal became in the second half after his IL stint with his knee also. So you're right, Adam. It is a little bit different because of the lineup construction. No Robert, no Jimenez. But McCullers, if he continues to throw the breaking ball the way he has, it doesn't matter. You could have Babe Ruth and Joe DiMaggio and whoever you want to put up there. You know, Paul Konerko, Frank Thomas, White Sox Gregs. They're not going to be able to do anything because nobody can hit this guy's breaking ball.
1-2. There is a breaking ball, and Abreu lays off. 2-2.
This is what we're talking about. All of his strikeouts are on breaking balls. You see an awkward swing, another awkward swing, then a weak contact here from Jimenez, backdoor to Sheets. If he is able to spot that breaking ball because of the movement, because of the speed changes, and because of the different types of breaking balls he throws, he is one tough cookie out there.
A 2-2 pitch to Abreu coming. There's the slider that just missed, and Tom Verducci, that came very close. That's a new pitch for McCullers this year.
Yeah, I think not only a new pitch, it's one of the best pitches in baseball considering he hadn't thrown it before this year. Look at the horizontal movement. That's exactly what he's looking for. Now, he went to that slider. We know he's got a great curveball, but after the postseason last year, he gave up a couple of home runs to the Tampa Bay Rays on those curveballs. He said, I need another shape to my breaking ball. And he went to his former teammate, Colin McHugh, now with the Rays, and picked up that slider. And the motion that he's looking for on a clock is 3 to 6. He's not really working for any vertical movement. It's mostly all horizontal.
Runner goes, ground ball to short. They stay out of the double play with the run. Abreu retired by Correa. Moncada into scoring position with 2 away, Tom.
And you look at the numbers on the season against his slider, you would think it's a pitch he always had, and especially against a right-handed heavy lineup like Chicago, that pitch is going to play. And let's face it, guys, he's carving them up with the slider to right-handers, the curveball to left-handers. And that curveball is so good, he literally doesn't practice it. The first curveball he threw was the first curveball he threw off a mound since the last time he pitched in the game, which was a week ago. The only thing he might do is play catch with a softball just to feel the true spin of what a curveball should feel like coming out of the hand.
Well, we'll start with a backdoor breaking ball to Grandal, who's batting left-handed. The switch hitter will take ball 1.
Well, it's like a kid having a new toy for Lance McCullers Jr. Thank you, Tom. You're right. It's incredible that he doesn't practice his curveball. For a pitch to be that effective and you don't practice it, what happened in practice makes perfect.
There's a 1-0. Goes back to that pitch, and this time gets it over the plate for a strike.
When you see the trust Maldonado has in those breaking balls, I mean, when they're in trouble, there's any hint of trouble, right to the curveball, right to the slider. And as a hitter, you know what's coming. It's just so hard to hit because of the different breaks and the different movement and the different velocities.
Down and away to Grandal. He's ahead in the count, 2-1. Grandal, the White Sox catcher. We mentioned his great numbers after he came back from the injury. What is interesting to note is he had one of the most interesting slash lines in baseball for really the first half of the year. Very low average, incredibly high on base. Really good slugging and a high OPS despite hitting under 200 at points this year. The guy who works a lot of counts, has been more aggressive than selective since coming back from injury. But he is a tough out and a veteran guy who's played a lot of baseball in the playoffs. This is his 7th straight postseason. Second time in his career he's played at Minute Maid Park. Remember, he played it for the Dodgers in the World Series in 2017 for a couple of games.
Your team wants to go to the postseason. Apparently, you signed Yasmani.
Hey, pick up Yasmani. It's not a bad pickup. And he's been a very important piece behind the plate. 1 on, 2 out in the fourth, and a 2-2 pitch coming from McCullers. Back to the breaking ball inside.
Interesting pitch right here. 3-2 to a guy who doesn't swing a lot, the most walks in baseball. Sorry, the highest on base percentage in baseball. And then you have Lance McCullers, who walks the most guys in baseball. Will he give in and throw him a fastball, or will he go with his strength, which has been the breaking balls?
Breaking ball back to McCullers. Leaves a man in scoring position. It's 3-0 Astros to the bottom of the fourth. Astros scored once in the second, twice in the third against Lance Lynn. And he goes back to work at 60 pitches. He'll deal with Kyle Tucker to lead off the home fourth. Starts him off with a strike. Tucker lined out to right center field, and a good play by Luis Robert. Well placed, but just off the plate for Adam Hammer's taste. 1-1.
The Astros' patience with Kyle Tucker has been paid off. They drafted him high, 5th overall, I believe, out of high school. Came up at 21, kind of rushed a little bit, struggled. But this year, all their patience for him and Dusty Baker has definitely paid off with his numbers.
There's a strike. A little lower, but a pitcher's strike. Since May the 10th, he's up there with 2 names that went back and forth for the American League MVP all season in Vlad Guerrero Jr. and Shohei Ohtani. And Tucker did all of this while battling a stomach virus in mid-June. He did not play in the series against the White Sox at Minute Maid Park. In the air to center, right at Luis Robert. 1 away. Well, Fox Bet Super 6 is giving you a chance to win $5,000 of Big Papi's money during today's game. It's free to play. Just enter now before the contest closes for your chance at $5 grand. Scan the QR code now, download the app, and play for free. He looks far too happy for someone who's just handed away his money like that.
I think he had that same smile on his face in the pregame when they showed that fight I got into with the Cubs.
He really enjoyed hitting you with that, didn't he? Here's Jake Myers, who in his first postseason at bat had a base hit for an RBI, and he has started his playoff career 2 for 2. One on, one out in the fourth for Houston. Now Martin Maldonado, who struck out in the second, will climb in against Lance Lynn.
I expect to see some action right here, Adam. Meaning Myers on the move, Maldonado maybe a hit and run, something possible. And you're struggling the way Maldonado struggled all year. First of all, you want to stay out of a double play, but second of all, it opens up holes, right? The whole right side will be open. It makes you focus on contact and putting the ball in play. And Dusty Baker has said in the past he likes doing that with Maldonado.
In there for a strike to start. Maldonado's the glue guy.
Aren't all catchers glue guys?
Did you consider yourself a glue guy?
Yeah, I was like the Elmer's glue. I was the crazy glue, actually.
I think that's probably a more accurate description of your time. A great article by Chandler Rome in the Houston Chronicle today talking about what Martin Maldonado has brought to the table. And the term glue guy is used in a very complimentary fashion. Keeps the pitchers together, veteran presence as we talked about. He's been a Gold Glover in his career. The light hitting catcher overall, but his experience has put him here. Trying to keep Jake Myers close. He stole 3 bags in 3 tries in his short stint. You talked about it, AJ. How many times they like to hit and run with Maldonado? 15 times, the most on the team for the Astros this year.
Well, again, it opens up holes and it makes the hitter focus on contact, on hitting the ball on the ground, and it opens up so many holes. And a great count now, 2-1. You know they're not going to pitch. Nobody pitches out anymore, but they're definitely not going to pitch out here 2-1. Myers is 3 for 3 in stealing bags. We've already mentioned the White Sox lack of throwing guys out on stolen bases, so a great opportunity here for the Astros to put more pressure on the White Sox defense.
Runner goes. Maldonado swings. Robert back on it towards the warning track. He's got it. And Myers went all the way around the second base bag and has to go back to first. That is what Luis Robert gives you in center field that they had been missing for a good chunk of the season when he was out. His speed and his reads on hard hit balls. He's able to get to the gap to make the grab.
He hits this ball too well. Maldonado, he's just trying to hit a ground ball to the right side, but he actually smokes this ball. And nice job by Myers. He touched second, rounded it, and then when he came back, watch him retouch, Adam.
This was a factor in last night's game in St. Louis,
You have to
LA.
retouch when you return to first.
Yep.
He does it perfectly and gets back easily, even with Luis Roberts' great arm out in center field. I expect him to try to go here again. Get in scoring position for Jose Altuve, and if he gets thrown out, you have Altuve leading off the next inning also.
A shift on the left side for a dead pull hitter in Jose Altuve. At least that's what he's become over the last couple of years. Really heavy pull this season, and that's how the White Sox play him with 3 defenders on the left side. Altuve has scored 1 of the 3 Houston runs. He's ahead of the count 2-0. This was part of the 2-run third. Moncada made a great play, but a great slide by Altuve.
The slide is the story. The great play by Moncada. The great jump by Altuve. Look how quick he gets off the in motion. You see him look back to see if Moncada's going to come home, but the slide. I'm not saying it's Trey Turner smooth, but that
hard to
slide,
be that smooth.
Yeah, but that slide by Altuve was a great, great baseball play.
Down the left field line, towards the corner and fair. Myers can fly. Jimenez gets to it. Myers will get the stop sign, and Altuve will get a double out of it. 2 in scoring position in the 4th.
You mentioned dead pull. Well, he gets a heater 2-0. He dead pulls this one right down the left field line. Gets the head out. The only question is what kind of bounce would it take off that scoreboard in left field, and it bounces right back to Jimenez, who picks it up, hits Tim Anderson perfectly to keep Myers from scoring. That's the only reason why they held him at third, was because the perfect bounce off the scoreboard in left field. If that ball rattles around a little bit, Adam,
yeah.
So as a third base, everyone knows Phil Nevin the other night had a tough call whether to send Aaron Judge. But they have to read so many things, right? He's reading the bounce off the scoreboard. He's explaining to Myers, it bounced right to him. If it bounces left or right, just a little bit, he's sending Myers and trying to score that 4th run. But fortunately for the White Sox, unfortunately for the Astros, it bounced right to Eloy Jimenez.
Need a 7th inning stretch? Hey Siri, tell me more about Apple Fitness Plus.
A visit from Ethan Katz, the first-year pitching coach for the White Sox. And Lance Lynn still 1 out away from getting out of this inning with no damage done and trying to keep this at a 3-0 game. But Michael Brantley is coming to the plate, the professional hitter, as has been termed by many around baseball over a long period of time for the left-hander. 0 for 1, had the sacrifice in that third inning, showing the bunt. 2 in scoring position here, and he'll take ball 1.
I know that goes down as a sacrifice, but he was bunting for a hit.
Yeah,
that's
he was.
a great play, right? He tries to bunt for it, he gets thrown out. Oh well, 0 for 1, sacrifice.
It was just very surprising. I agree with you to see it at that juncture of the game.
Well, it was his first in his Astros career, his first sac bunt, his first in the postseason career. So it surprised everybody except Moncada, who made a great play.
Here's a 1-0. 1-1. Second-time All-Star Lance Lynn this year. Signed an extension in July. He is under club control through 2024. Trying to get out of a tough spot with Myers at third, Altuve at second. 2 outs, bottom of the 4th, 3-0 already Houston. 1-1 to Brantley. Upstairs. And the action in the White Sox bullpen starting to accelerate a little bit as Ronaldo Lopez has grabbed the ball and is loosening up again. Sox do have guys in their bullpen that can give you some length, but Dallas Keuchel is not part of this postseason roster, as a note, at least for the ALDS. A 2-1 from Lynn to Brantley. That's going to give the Astros a bigger lead. Altuve is already around third. It's going to score a pair. It's 5-0 Houston in game 1. Brantley delivers.
Another fastball, another mislocation. You see Grandal go out back to the middle of the plate, and Brantley does what a professional hitter does, drives in 2 more Astro runs.
And it's going to be a hook in the 4th inning for Lance Lynn. His struggles against Houston have popped back up here in the playoffs. Pitching change in the 4th. That's the story in pictures through the first few innings plus of the 2021 American League Division Series presented by Good Sam. AJ talked about it. The Astros trying to get into this game early, take the early lead, get the crowd into it, and maybe get Lance Lynn out. And that is the case. Lynn done after 3 2/3 innings. His 2 outings at Minute Maid Park have not gone well this season.
Eerily similar lines for Lance Lynn. The one place really all year he's struggled has been against this lineup and in Minute Maid Park. And the Astros, we talked about it, can hit the fastball better than anybody. Lance Lynn threw more of them, and they did not miss very many. And now we're on to Ronaldo Lopez out of the White Sox bullpen.
20 appearances this season. He made his postseason debut last year. 9 starts this season for Lopez. He did some spot duty, as felt like at various points this year the White Sox starters all had nagging injuries. Nothing overly serious, but nagging stuff. That's going to be a series factor for Chicago this weekend as well. But to the bullpen they go. Lopez can give them some length. He comes in with Brantley at first and 2 out, and Bregman at the plate. Bregman goes after the first offering, coming towards us actually. I'm excited. I get this feeling at some point one of us is going to have to duck at some
I'll
point
catch
this
it
week.
if it comes in here. I'll protect you. Don't worry.
Thanks, buddy. That's
I got
all I
you.
asked for.
But Lopez, you mentioned, yes, he can give them length, but he's also been better out of the bullpen for the White Sox this year than as a starter. He has over a 4 ERA as a starter and a 2.2 ERA out of the bullpen. So he's done both. That's why he's on this roster instead of a Dallas Keuchel, who doesn't have as much experience coming out of the bullpen.
Lopez, opponents against him in relief hit just 10 for 68. That's a 147 average. Lopez is going to have a key role to play, it feels like, today. Both teams come in carrying 8 relievers, along with their 4 starters. And 14 position players each. That's the split for these two in this series. In their first strike, and it's 1-2 on Bregman.
You see the velocity from Lopez, 97, 98 so far. He also has a slider, curve, changeup, mostly fastball slider, especially out of the pen. And this is a guy they've been waiting on to develop. He was a starter for a long time. He's been hyped as a prospect for a long time. And another one of those prospects since 2016 that Rick Hahn has brought over, trying to build a championship caliber White Sox organization.
Part of the Lucas Giolito trade that brought him from Washington to Chicago. Bregman reaches out, pokes it to left. Jimenez is there, and that'll do it for the Astros in the 4th. But 3 consecutive innings, they have scored 2 more in that frame. Lynn Dunn, 5-0 Houston to the 5th. We go. Astros lead game 1 5-0. Lance McCullers Jr. has only allowed 1 hit through 4 innings of work against this White Sox offense. Luis Robert. There's the slider and misses down and away. Strong work from McCullers early. It's a White Sox lineup that hasn't had a lot of looks at McCullers overall. Anderson, Cena, Moncada, Abreu, Garcia, but a lot of these guys just haven't had looks at him in their careers.
Well, the ones that haven't had any success off him either. So, listen, he's only in the 5th inning, no outs here into the 5th, and every out he steals now, every out he gets, just less outs, less stress on the bullpen for Dusty Baker. So he's only at 67 pitches here through 4+ innings. If he can get into the 6th, into the 7th, you will not be able to wipe the smile off Dusty Baker's face.
1-2 on Robert. Well, the White Sox need somebody to get going. It feels like Robert is going to have to play a big role in this series. Fans got a little bit of a taste of him in the wild card series last year when he hit that titanic home run against Oakland. Well, check swing towards third. Bregman makes the play. Robert using his speed, and that throw was a little high. And there is another one of the tools in the bag of Luis Robert. That speed gets him to first. We'll see how it's scored. Base runners have been at a premium for Chicago. Robert leads off the 5th by getting aboard.
Well, a check swing knock here for Luis Robert. Bregman does everything right. He just gets underneath that throw a little bit. Gurriel has to come up. And one of the tools of Robert is run. And he can run. He gets down the line and he just beats gravity.
Great job by our crew showing it to you. Bregman with an error. Had 8 of them in 90 starts at third base this year.
That's a tough error.
Yep. Jimenez went after that first slider. 0-1 the count.
And that's a tough error on Bregman. Check swing. He's almost playing him in the Crawford boxes at third base. He comes charging in on the run, throws it high. That's hometown scoring right there, Adam.
Robert took off and was cut down earlier in this game. We'll see how aggressive he is, if at all.
And Bregman's almost in the grass. He comes in. He knows Robert's speed. He knows he has to rush. 99% of the time, that's a knock. But, hey, not today in Houston.
The 1-1. Jimenez fouls it at the plate. We're reading about Luis Robert a little bit this week and just some of the stuff that's been put out there. I was surprised a little bit to hear as much comparison to Mike Trout as I saw and heard and read this week. But when you really look at the tools, this guy might be the next Mike Trout. And somebody who agrees with that is Tony La Russa. Eloy Jimenez, during one of the White Sox Fan Fest events, said that he thinks Robert is the next Mike Trout. He is staring at that fastball at the knees right there. He had something to say to Adam Hammery about it. Just wanted to know about that at bat. Well, that is a strikeout for McCullers. 1 away in the 5th.
That pitch was set up to Jimenez by all the breaking balls he's thrown, and then he Sneaks a fastball by him. Great job by Maldonado to just sneak it up. Adam Hamari behind the plate rings him up. Ball's not low. I don't know what the conversation would be with Eloy, but anybody to be compared to Mike Trout, that's a large leap, especially for a guy as young as Robert. He has the tools. He has the power. He has the speed. He has the defense. He might have a better arm than Mike Trout. But to put that comparison on a guy, that's a lot, especially early in a kid's career.
I think a lot of people around Chicago, and obviously I live there, so I hear about it a little bit more. That guy's probably the most talented guy on the roster. Anderson's great. Abreu's great. There's a lot of great players and a lot of potential. But a lot of people think Robert is that guy.
And a great nickname.
Blue Bob.
La Pantera.
Yeah, oh, I was going to say, I like just calling him Blue Bob. La Pantera is very quick, cat-like at first base.
He's not going anywhere. Maldonado already cut him down once. He's going to stand right there.
Now 2 balls and a strike to Gavin Sheets. Sheets is one of a couple of rookies that the White Sox had to lean on this year. Andrew Vaughn is on the bench for them today. Sheets got sent down at one point to AAA and got brought back up and had a very productive final month plus of the regular season. 2-1. On the ground, tough play. Altuve to a recovering Gurriel to get the out at first. On to second base goes Robert. 2 away. This is the season recap for the White Sox, who had the 6th best record in baseball with Tony La Russa as the new manager. It came with a lot of speed bumps en route to settling things down. Jimenez and Robert with injuries certainly put this team off track. The starting pitching carried them throughout most of the summer. And the offense got going in August. Here's Adam Engel. One of the narratives about the White Sox is, well, they can't beat the good teams because they beat up on, frankly, it's a bad division. The Central was bad this year. It wasn't last year, but it was this year. And the White Sox did very well in the Central. They didn't do as well against teams with above 500 records. Now, does that matter when you get to the postseason?
Yes.
I'm sure you could argue no.
Yes.
But based on this team's track record, this has got to be the time to prove it now for the White Sox, and they're already in the 5-0 hole.
Well, you can almost flip that for the Astros, too, right?
And they were very good. They had one of the best records in baseball against teams with above 500 records.
So you can say, oh, it's a new season, it doesn't matter. Well, it does matter. Because when you're playing those good teams, you see the better pitching, you see the better lineups. So it really exposes the flaws and the holes in your roster. Anyone can go out, if you're a good team, great team, beat up on the lesser teams. But it's what you do, especially for kind of, yes, I know the Twins struggled in the Central this year, but for a team like the White Sox, they were expected to win the division this year. And they won it easily. They were expected to do that, and they just kind of were in cruise control the whole year. But those big series against the Astros, against the Yankees, against the Rays, those are the ones where you show what you can do. And we showed the numbers. They didn't stack up very well.
2-1 to Engel. To short and Correa. Good hustle by Engel, but Correa's arm gets the out at first. Another shutout frame thrown by Lance McCullers Jr. We're halfway through Game 1 in Houston. Ronaldo Lopez got the final out of the 4th. He'll go through the middle of the Astros order here in the bottom of the 5th. Yordan Alvarez has been aboard twice. And he swings through a Lopez fastball upstairs. Alvarez walked to lead off the 2nd, came around to score on the Jake Myers RBI. Doubled home run in the 3rd inning, scoring Bregman. 1-1. Haven't had a full house here for a playoff game since Game 7 of the World Series in 2019. Of course, the Nationals won that one. What was a back and forth series.
Didn't the road team win every game in that series? Huge home run by Howie Kendrick off the foul pole,
Yep.
right field, right? That guy wasn't very happy.
And he probably closed the helmet just to hide his emotions from
Hide his
everybody.
tears.
Which I probably would have done the same thing. There's a 1-2. Astros had the 4th best record in baseball this year. White Sox had the 6th best. Astros were top 5 in terms of home record. There were 21 games above 500 in this ballpark. It was a difficult place to play for opponents. 2-2 to Alvarez. In the air, right center field, well struck, and back to the wall, and gone. 6-0 Houston. Well, the home run ball was a problem for Ronaldo Lopez towards the end of the year. Alvarez cracks one out. Here's Gurriel.
Talk about a majestic, high home run. Slider Lopez throws Alvarez, and he just hit. I thought it was going to hit the roof.
Yeah.
Thing just kept going. You knew it right away the way he reacted. Ball just kept going.
97 for a strike from Lopez, 0-2. Alvarez's impact has been felt in his first 3 trips. Gurriel has struck out on a fastball swinging and a slider looking against Lance Lynn. Lynn went just 3 2/3 in this one. Second career playoff home run for Yordan Alvarez. Fastball fouled back. Back to the home run.
This is the Wampin zone. We used to call it for lefties. Slider comes down and in, just drops the head on it, kind of flicks it out. Just easy power. Luis Robert, he went back like he was going to have a play on this ball. Alvarez knew it right away. You saw him trying to kind of pick up his speed. He thought, because Robert kind of deked all of us. He went to jump like he was going to catch it, and it was way back in the bullpen.
They mark it at 411 feet. Gurriel reaches out to spoil one.
And just a majestic short follow through. He knows it right away. The crowd knows it, and right there Robert dekes us, and then he realizes, yeah, nobody's catching that, not him or Mike Trout.
Yeah, and both of them could do it at a different ballpark perhaps, or on a shorter ball, but that had some carry to it from Alvarez. Gurriel strikes out for the 3rd time. Ronaldo Lopez mixed it up nicely there. He gets the first out of the bottom of the 5th. Well, in this divisional series, every Moonblast home run over 425 feet, FTX is donating $10,000 to charity. Yordan came close on that one, but Alvarez was at 14 feet shy.
425?
Yep.
That's a long home run. Couldn't make it an even 400.
Couldn't help us out a little bit there. Here is Correa. 1 for 2 today with a single. Dusty Baker took over as manager last year for the Houston Astros, leading this team to the playoffs with a sub-500 record last year. Again, expanded playoff. But this year became the first manager to win a division title with 5 different franchises: the Giants, Cubs, Reds, Nationals, and now in the American League with Houston. Three-time National League Manager of the Year.
Is he not the best guy to talk to, though? Gets that smile. You start talking ball with him, gets that smile on his face. You just see how much he loves baseball, loves talking baseball. And he's honest with us, right, Adam? I mean, he gives you answers when you ask him questions. Just a great baseball guy. Lifer.
You can kind of see how the response has been with Houston. It took some time for the Astros to kind of figure things out with Dusty last year. And then this year with a fresh season, full houses, etc. It was a good mix. 3-1. Ball 4. It's always funny to watch Dusty celebrate, especially when he's drinking out of a shoe, which he was willing to do during their celebration after the Astros had clinched the American League West and what ended up being a race down to the finish line. They ended up with a 5-game lead over Seattle and Oakland. So over Seattle, 9-game lead over Oakland.
One of the hardest things in sports to do is make the postseason in baseball. And when you see guys and the way they react, and people say, oh, it's just a division championship. It is so hard to win your division in Major League Baseball. And then you become a child, and it's the most fun you can have, other than obviously winning a World Series. Every celebration gets a little bit better, but that first one, when you win that division, it's special because you know you get to play on. There's only 8 teams playing right now, right? 4 series, that's it. Everyone else is at home watching these games. So, and then as it gets smaller and smaller and you get down to the final 2, you win that one, no holds barred. Everything's fair game at that point, including apparently drinking out of a shoe.
I'm going to go ahead and save the question about drinking out of a shoe for you for later, I think.
No.
All right, I'm glad you can own up to it right there. Well, it's funny, too. Tom asked Tony La Russa a question at the end of our conversation with him today, and he said something similar, like, how do you feel now? You know, you grind all year to win the division title to get to this point, and La Russa said, this is where it gets fun. The hardest thing to do is to win the division, to grind out 162 games, and now you get to enjoy it. I know it's a 6-0 game in favor of Houston, but it's a series, and you could feel the energy right out of the gate. This is a different sport almost when you get to this time of year. The managers act differently. They approach things differently. Every pitch is intensified. We felt that the last 2 nights just watching Yankees, Red Sox, and Cardinals, Dodgers.
What a game last night.
Incredible. Chris Taylor, the walk-off. 2-run home run.
You're right. Playoff baseball is completely different. You see starters in the bullpen. Anyone's willing to do anything. Whereas if you were going to go to a starter and say, hey, we need you to throw 3 innings out of the pen, they look at you like you're crazy in the regular season. You're going to ruin my start in 3 days. But in the playoffs, nope. Everything goes, anything goes, as it should, because you're trying to get to the ultimate goal, and that's winning a World Series.
Astros won in 2017. Certainly that has a little bit of a complicated legacy to it. White Sox, their last world title here in Houston in 05. There's an 0-2 pitch from Lopez to Kyle Tucker. And Tucker's looked off balance a couple of times. Lopez with his second strikeout here in the 5th. Well, T-Mobile covers the most interstate highway miles with its 5G. Home or away, stay connected to your team with T-Mobile, the leader in 5G coverage. Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas, the site. Adam Amin, AJ Pierzynski, Tom Verducci, the wonderful women and men of our Fox Sports crew. We got another one for you on FS1 later today. Game 1 between the Tampa Bay Rays, the #1 seed in the American League, champions of the East, getting set to take on the wild card winner, their division foes, the Boston Red Sox, later on tonight here on FS1. Here's Myers with a broken bat roller towards second. Garcia has to hustle, and that'll retire Myers for the first time in his playoff career. Yordan Alvarez with the first home run of the postseason for Houston. A solo shot to make it 6-0 Astros. That's where we're headed, to the 6th. Number 9 hitter in the White Sox order is Leury Garcia, leading things off in the 6th against Lance McCullers Jr., who's at 82 pitches. 7 of the last 8 outs have been via ground ball for McCullers. Trying to make it another one here. Gurriel to McCullers, and he got him. Well, coming up next, the ALDS continues with Game 1 between the Red Sox and the Rays here on FS1. Tomorrow, we'll have Game 2 of this series between the White Sox and the Astros, but that'll be over on MLB Network. And the National League Division Series will get started up. Braves and Brewers from Milwaukee, and then we'll keep things going with Dodgers and Cardinals as well. Shane McClanahan became the first pitcher in playoff history to make his Major League debut during the postseason. That was last year. Eduardo Rodriguez is back for the Red Sox. Tim Anderson, first pitch swinging. Altuve loads it up. And a couple of ground ball outs to start this inning for Lance McCullers Jr. Anderson's 0 for 3.
And this is just what Dusty Baker wanted to see. He came into this inning, Lance McCullers Jr., 81 pitches. He's got 2 outs, and he's only at 84. If he gets another quick out, that gives Dusty the opportunity to run him out there again.
Sure.
And if he has another quick inning, listen, if he goes 6 innings, great. If he can get into the 7th, even better. And every out after the 6 he steals just makes Dusty's life that much easier.
You're talking about stealing outs in the sense of not having to put pressure on the bullpen, which has been up and down this year for the Astros. Here's Moncada. Still has the lone White Sox hit. It was a single in the 4th. One and one. Moncada, another one of those pieces that was picked up over the last few years to bolster this roster. The Chris Sale trade was one that was going to have a lot of weight to it years later, and the additions of Moncada and Michael Kopech, who is pitching out of the bullpen right now, probably a starter in the future at some point. Those are big dividends to come back to Chicago. 2 balls and a strike. Three and 1 the count now on Moncada. In the air to right. Tucker back. Still moving towards the track. Has to reach up to make the catch. A 1-2-3 inning. And one of the longer outs of the night for Chicago off the bat of Moncada. Handled by Tucker. 6-0. Bottom 6. Nine, 1, and 2 for the Astros in the bottom of the 6th inning with a 6-0 advantage. Martin Maldonado will lead it off against Reynaldo Lopez. Into his 3rd inning of action. 1 1/3 so far. Gave up the solo home run in the 5th. Maldonado, then Altuve, both right-handers, and then the lefty Michael Brantley. We may end up seeing a pitching change at that point. On the ground to the hole at short for Anderson. 1 away. We'll follow all the action of the postseason with the Major League Baseball app from, well, why would you guys put that up? Because now I'm distracted from the read. From real-time tracking of every pitch to in-depth analysis of the games, download the MLB app to make this postseason major. I have a feeling that at some point that is going to end up in front of AJ Pierzynski.
Can't wait. Please.
My man likes his desserts.
We need to get Ober, our trusty sidekick, up here to run down and get one of whatever that thing is. I want one.
I feel like there's a cookie there somewhere.
I mean, I didn't go to the gym this morning, Adam, to not eat that today.
Here is Altuve. Broken bat. That goes flying to the netting, and the ball goes flying into the glove of Anderson. 2 up and 2 down here in the 6th. And indeed, Tony La Russa is going to make the change. So with a pocket coming, the 3-batter minimum is still in effect for the postseason for relievers out of the pen. Brantley, a lefty, Bregman, a righty, then Alvarez, the lefty. So Garrett Crochet is getting set to come in for the pen.
More about Apple Fitness Plus.
Altuve's broken bat ended up as a pop out on the last out. 2 away in the bottom of the 6th. Astros leading it. This was what we told you to watch for. The #1 fastball hitting team in baseball are the Houston Astros. Lance Lynn is a heavy fastball pitcher. And almost every pitch that Lynn threw was a fastball. The Astros eventually got the best of him.
Well, that was the matchup we wanted to see. We
Right.
talked about it in the open. We talked about it pregame. It was, can Lance Lynn locate enough fastballs to get this great fastball hitting team of the Astros out tonight? 74 of 76 pitches fastballs. Maybe mix in some more. I know that's not what Lance Lynn does.
Right.
But at the end of the day, sometimes you have to make adjustments. He didn't, and the Astros made him pay for it.
Lefty on lefty, Garrett Crochet will fire away, and he's a man with some velocity out of the pen. He averages 97 out of the pen. That was 98 to start.
And he's been really good this last month or so for the White Sox. You see high velocity, you see a high leg kick, you see a low 3/4. He's also got a filthy slider he can mix in. But most of the time he comes right at you with 97, 98 from the left side.
About 2 out of every 3 pitches he throws are fastballs. Brantley's numbers against lefties way down compared to his numbers against right-handers. Left-handers against Crochet hit a paltry 171.
I wouldn't want to. I was left-handed. I would have been looking over there saying, "Hey, Dusty, a little pinch hit piece here, buddy. 6-0." I know I'm kidding in a playoff game, but these are the guys that give you as a left-handed hitter. These guys give you nightmares, especially the high velocity.
So the second career postseason appearance for Crochet. Got his first taste last year against Oakland. 1-2 to Brantley. On the ground the other way. Anderson's got to go a long way, and that's a hard play. Brantley is aboard. Just muscled that on the infield. I imagine it'll be an infield single because Anderson would have had to make a spectacular play on that ball that just went to the perfect spot.
A good pitch. Jams Brantley. Just good placement. Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. It's about where you hit the ball. And he beats the shift. And even if Tim Anderson catches that ball cleanly, he's not throwing that. He's not throwing Michael Brantley out from there.
So now here's Bregman. I'll show you that number 2 from Lance Lynn. I wanted to point this out. Sarah Langs, who does a great job in the research department. 74 of 76 pitches for Lance Lynn were fastballs, either the four seam, the sinker, or the cutter. 97% rate. That's the highest rate of fastballs thrown in a postseason start since that got tracked in 2008. So over the last 14 seasons, nobody's thrown a higher rate of fastballs from a starting pitching position than Lance Lynn did today.
Well, I can't imagine anybody at any point.
Sure.
You can go past 2008 has thrown more just pure fastballs than what Lance Lynn did today, percentage-wise.
A 1-1. Oh, there's that nice off-speed pitch. Drops in for a strike.
You can see why Crochet is effective. Not only high velocity, but that breaking ball he throws. If he can locate it like that, it's a tough day for any hitter.
Only 22 years old. He just turned 22 this past summer. 1-2 from Crochet. Hard hit and into left center field. Brantley will stop at second. Bregman backs up Brantley with a single. 2 aboard with 2 outs in the 6th inning.
You mentioned the pocket of lefties and why Crochet is in the game. This is not what Tony La Russa wanted to see. He wanted him to get Brantley out, go sit down, then face Bregman, then face Alvarez, possibly get through Tucker. But now he's got first and second. There's 2 outs. Much more high pressure. Now if he gets Alvarez out, he goes and sits down. It's a little bit of a different inning than if he just would have got Brantley out, the first hitter.
And now here's Alvarez, who has yet to be retired and hit that towering home run.
Moonball.
In the 5th inning. A parabolic shot to right center field. I mentioned it, Alvarez's numbers against lefties have been just about as good against righties this year. And therefore a strike. Regardless of the outcome of this game, Crochet is probably going to play a key role at some point again in this series. He is one of the A relievers in that White Sox bullpen.
And if I was him against Alvarez after that swing, I'd just go another fastball, 98 plus, high in the zone, try to get a punch out. He threw 2 good breaking balls to Bregman to get to 2 strikes, and he tried to sneak a fastball by him, and Bregman made him pay. Right here, I think if he elevates on Alvarez, he can punch him out.
Oh, 2. 98 that time. A little low and inside. Crochet from Ocean Springs, Mississippi. Southeast portion of the state. First round pick in 2020 out of Tennessee. Excellent college player. Drops that one in for called strike 3. That was nasty. A strikeout closes out the 6th. 6-0 to the 7th. Game featured in the free-to-play Fox Bet Super 6 app. One of the questions in tonight's contest: which team will strike out the most batters, and how many will they have? Chances to play Super 6 all postseason long. 4 strikeouts for McCullers thus far. In fact, the Sox staff has 7 strikeouts in this game. One of the best, in fact, the best strikeout pitching staff in baseball were the White Sox this year in the American League.
Normally that means you're winning if you have more strikeouts than the other team. But tonight, with the way McCullers, he's just got weak contact, and a lot of it.
Ball and a strike on Jose Abreu. He's going to go down as one of the great White Sox in history. Back up the middle, and he's got a base hit to lead off this 7th inning. We'll see what Lance McCullers' leash is going to look like here. He's approaching 100 pitches. He's got Grandal, the switch hitter here, Robert Jimenez to follow after that. He's waited a long time to get an opportunity back at this point. The ground ball outs are starting to rack up as well. Shift is on for Grandal. Turns that one over for a breaking ball strike. 0-1. Phil Maton has begun to loosen in the Houston Astros bullpen. So this might be the end of the line for McCullers. Tom Verducci, this guy was a first-round pick in 2012, the same draft that they picked up Carlos Correa.
Yeah, it's worth detailing that connection between Correa and McCullers, because Lance was one of the top 2 right-handed high school pitchers in the country going into that 2012 draft. The other, Lucas Giolito, now with the White Sox. Giolito went 16th overall to the Nationals. McCullers slid in the draft because he had a commitment to the University of Florida. A lot of teams thought he would be a tough sign. And that was the first year there was a cap, a limit to how much bonus money you could give players. So how did the Astros wind up signing McCullers at number 41 in the draft? Well, they gave him the equivalent money of a number 12 pick, well over slot at $2.5 million. And they were able to do that because they saved money by signing Carlos Correa, the number 1 pick, who they signed for $2.6 million under slot. And here we are 9 years later. Correa, McCullers still with the Astros, all-stars. And by the way, 5 high school pitchers drafted in the first round that year. McCullers the only one with his original team.
Try to turn 2 behind McCullers, and he is fired up. If that was the last pitch. On the ground again. More ground ball outs for Lance McCullers with the defense behind him. They go 4-6-3. Correa was involved.
Great pitch by McCullers. Just blows up Grandal inside. and then an awesome turn. Watch the footwork, and then the perfect feed to Correa, and then the strong throw right over the top. His footwork, the drop step, perfect feed to Correa, and then right over the top for the double play. Great story, Tom. I just wondered, is Correa...
There's a base hit for Luis Robert into left field.
Does Correa ever hit McCullers up for like dinner or anything to try to make up for that $2.6 million he left on the table?
AJ, I just know you still can't get over the fact that he didn't go to Florida.
You had to. I wasn't going to say him and Tucker in right field. Both were supposed to go there.
Obviously, one of the questions is going to be about Correa going forward after this season. McCullers just signed a 5-year, $85 million extension this year. Right on cue. Correa, McCullers joined by a couple of their teammates to talk things over as Jimenez is coming up. That was after the double play. 11 ground ball outs now for McCullers.
See that? He's putting the cannon away, the gun away. Arm like that, he take it away, take the gun out, holster it back after that double play. Great shots by our camera crew, and especially right after Tom tells that story, then we get those guys involved, pointing at each other, giving each other some love. McCullers never afraid to show some emotion.
Fairly efficient for a few innings tonight. White Sox made him work in that 4th inning. That was the inning where they got the base hit from Moncada. Abreu and Grandal both had longer at bats in that inning, but both ended up in groundouts. Here is Jimenez, 0 for 2. Up and in on Eloy.
This is the first inning that I've seen any sort of fatigue out of McCullers. Leaving more balls up. The one to Abreu, he got a hit. He made a good pitch on Grandal to get the double play, but then another mistake to Robert for a single. Then that pitch right there to Jimenez. First signs of fatigue out of Lance McCullers Jr.
Well, he's about to throw his 100th toss of the night. Looked like Maton was ready to go if need be. Big cut on that off-speed breaking ball. 1-1 the count on Eloy Jimenez. Jimenez with a really impressive rookie season a couple of years ago. Finished 4th in the AL Rookie of the Year voting. That was the year Yordan Alvarez won it. One and two the count.
I think the most surprising thing for me is the strikeout total that we showed.
One, two.
The strikeout total we showed for both teams, the way McCullers has pitched, you'd think he'd have 10+ strikeouts in these 6 2/3. He only has 4, but he's gotten weak contact, a lot of weak ground balls, and he's dominated the White Sox without the strikeout numbers.
Best season of McCullers' career so far. 3-2 the count on Jimenez. Well, if you're going to get something against McCullers, I would imagine this is it. I mean, this is probably his last batter of the night.
And Dusty's just hoping. Dusty doesn't want to have to go to the mound.
Right.
He's hoping he gets Jimenez out here, walks off to a great ovation, and if it's Maton, the reliever can start the next inning.
Runner will go on this 3-2 pitch from McCullers to Jimenez in the 7th. To center field and down for a base hit, and Robert will hold up at second. That was a hard hit ball right to Myers, so he has to hold up after a bag. McCullers frustrated, and that is indeed going to be done. Lance McCullers Jr., 6 2/3 here in this opening game of this 2021 ALDS. Lance McCullers Jr. getting the start today. Couple of losses last year in the ALCS despite good outings. Bounced back tonight in the 2021 postseason opener.
An outstanding performance by Lance McCullers Jr. Not a lot of strikeouts, a lot of weak contact. His breaking balls were as good as advertised. The White Sox had no answers. He got a little fatigued here in the 7th, but walked off the field proud, tipped his cap a little bit to the crowd. They acknowledged him. Just a great job by that young man.
So now it is Phil Maton, the former Cleveland Indian. 10 appearances in his career against the White Sox, playing in the Central. He deals with Gavin Sheets. High strikeout totals for Maton between Cleveland and Houston. It took a while for him to get settled in, though. A 1-0 to Sheets is off the corner, 2-0. Sheets and Maton facing each other for the first time. Maton's ERA up around 5 in his 27 appearances with the Astros. The really good numbers he put up in Cleveland made him an interesting trade piece. Astros gave up a lot. They gave up Miles Straw in that deal, their center fielder, to get Phil Maton. And therefore a strike, 2-1 on Sheets.
Well, Maton, since he's come over, you mentioned his high ERA, but they've really only come in a few outings for him. He's had 3 kind of blow-up outings where he gave up 3+ earned runs, and as a reliever, that's tough. The other ones, the other 24, he's had 27 appearances now. He's only given up 3 in almost over 23 innings pitched. So it's really been those blow-up outings that have misconstrued his numbers.
There's a good breaking ball there to get Sheets swinging through, 2-2.
And that's his pitch. He's got a really good curveball, good slider, but when he needs to get it out, he's going to go to that curveball, much like McCullers. You saw the awkward swing by Sheets.
Seventh inning, 2 on, 2 out. Maton to Sheets. On the ground, broken bat to third and Bregman. That'll do it for the Sox in the 7th. Stretch time in game 1. Lance McCullers Jr. in line for the win. Didn't allow a run in 6 2/3. Garrett Crochet misses to Yuli Gurriel to start off the bottom half of the 7th inning. Of course, the American League batting champion has struck out 3 times today. He's never struck out 4 times in a game in his MLB career, more than 700 games. Quickly 2-0 on Yuli Gurriel.
And how can you know you can't ever figure out baseball? Batting champion 0 for 3 punch outs, and the Astros are up 6-0 in the game with him doing nothing.
A run in the 2nd, 2 in the 3rd, 2 in the 4th, 1 in the 5th for Houston. Lance Lynn went 3 2/3 in this opening game. Gurriel fouls it away, and it's 2-1. McCullers 6 2/3 in line for the win. Big leg kick from Crochet. Gurriel would not chase that good breaking ball.
You're 0 for 3 with 3 punch outs. You get 3 and 1 right here. Gurriel's trying to do damage. He's trying to get the head out and make this 7-0 on this swing.
Big cut, bounce to third for Moncada. 1 away. A big noon doubleheader on Fox. The big noon kickoff crew is going to be in Iowa City. Got one of the biggest games in the Big Ten in a cross-divisional matchup at 4 Eastern between number 4 Penn State and number 3 Iowa. We'll start it off with Maryland and 7th-ranked Ohio State. Huge big noon Saturday on Fox and the Fox Sports app. I know it's going to be a very fun atmosphere in Iowa City this weekend. Here is Correa. 1 for 2 with a walk. He'll take one just a little bit high. 3 o'clock local time start. Almost 6 o'clock local time now as the sun will start to set here in Houston. This place was the site of the National League Division Series last year. During the pandemic-shortened season, neutral sites for the playoffs. LA and San Diego for the American League last year. Houston and Arlington for the National League last season. There's a strike.
We were here, Adam.
Yep, we're here for that Braves-Marlins series. There's a 1-2. Correa muscles it to right. Engel with a circuitous route to try to get there, and it drops down for a base hit for Correa. His second hit of the game. Now a quick word from DraftKings.
Hey, better. This postseason, bet $1 to win $100 if either team gets a hit. Download the app, sign up with the promo code, and make it rain.
Crochet blows up Correa. Circuitous route, as my partner so eloquently said, by Engel. But that's just a bloop base hit. And this is a matchup I wanted to see. Tucker's been really good against lefties. Crochet is one of the tougher lefties in the league, so I want to see how Tucker hangs in there against this guy.
Challenged him a little bit with a fastball. So Houston's batting champion and their hottest hitter combined in this game, 0 for 7 so far.
This will be Crochet's last hitter, I believe, with Ruiz warming in the bullpen. Lefty.
Oof, man, you weren't kidding about that breaking ball from Garrett Crochet.
Well, think about first pitch 96 up and in.
Yep.
Scares Tucker. You see him buckle and jump out of the way, and then this one. Just a little bit. His head was in it, right? But his heart really wasn't in it. Adam, see the swing? Not fully committed after that first pitch up and in.
Waves after that one. Boy, Tucker looks out of sorts against Crochet, a guy who got to make his postseason debut last year, as you mentioned, struck out 2 batters against Oakland and then had to leave because he was experiencing some forearm tightness. We mentioned he's only 22 years old. He just turned 22 this summer. It's one of those rare guys who maybe pops up a little bit more as time goes on, but he went straight from college to the majors. Obviously, a lot of that has to do with just not having a minor league season last year, but he was good enough last season to be thought of as a potential playoff pitcher, and he was.
Chris Sale route.
Yeah.
2010, the White Sox drafted Chris Sale. He was in the major leagues later that year. Crochet last year, very similar. Now, if he goes on to have the career that Chris Sale's had, White Sox got something, and then maybe they'll trade him like they did Chris Sale and get Moncada and Kopech and a bunch of other guys for one guy. But this guy's got a great arm. He's not afraid of the moment.
Trying to put away Tucker, 1-2. Got him. There's the fastball. That was a tough at bat for a left-hander against Garrett Crochet. 2 down. And sure enough, with a 3-batter run of right-handers coming up, Tony La Russa will go back to the pen and go to Jose Ruiz. 6-0 Astros, 2 away in the 7th. Myers coming up. We'll step aside. Let's take a look at our game summary, sponsored by Liberty Mutual. First matchup of lances in Major League history. It happens to come at a postseason start. And McCullers got the best of Lynn in game 1.
McCullers did. get the best. Game kind of played out like we talked about. We worried about it with Lance Lynn and Lance McCullers for the White Sox. Lance Lynn couldn't get his fastball located well enough. McCullers dominated with his breaking ball. The biggest thing for Lance McCullers Jr., he led the MLB in walks this year. 0 walks for that young man.
He had 76 this season. Jose Ruiz, you see those 63 strikeouts, about half of them come on the curveball. This guy's got a nasty curveball, and he challenges you with a fastball. There's the challenging fastball at 97 on Myers.
He's been really good. He's been a weapon for the White Sox really over the last month. He's got an ERA barely over 1. He's really kind of found a role with Tony La Russa. La Russa trusts him in situations. He's been good for them.
Facing Jake Myers in his postseason debut, couple of hits, an RBI, and a run scored in 3 trips.
There's your curveball, 87. Times have changed. Curveballs used to be 75, 77. Now they're 87 plus because guys throw now 97 instead of 87.
Check swing on a fastball. Did not go around, according to Chris Conroy. 2 balls and a strike on Jake Myers. It's the most pitches he's seen in an at-bat tonight. He was very aggressive in this game.
Why not? You know what you're getting from Lance Lynn, so
yeah.
Go get it. He did 2 hits the first 2 at-bats.
Grounded out against Lopez, now facing his 3rd pitcher of the night in Ruiz. 2-1. Out of play. Game 2 starters are slotted up. It'll be Framber Valdez for the Houston Astros. And Lucas Giolito for the Chicago White Sox. That'll be tomorrow over on MLB Network for Game 2 of this series. Struck him out. Ruiz backs up the crochet strikeout to close out the 7th. Engel, Garcia, Anderson all coming up in the 8th. Get your game on. That's just a great shot. Get your game on at MLBshop.com. Authentic on-field caps, tees, hoodies, and more. Get all your postseason gear and wear what the champs wear at the official source, MLBshop.com.
He's having a great time.
Great time today.
He doesn't know the score. He doesn't care. Dancing, glasses, headphones.
It's a good look, too. Adam Engel takes a strike from Kendall Graveman, who makes his playoff debut.
Kendall Graveman has had obviously a really great year with those numbers, but this guy's slider is just filthy. Opponents hit 130 off of it. There it is, another out.
Engel to right for Tucker. 1 down.
Another trade that the Astros made midseason to bolster their bullpen. Got him from the Mariners midseason. You don't see those interdivision trades, but this is one the Astros needed.
Came at a price for them, too. They had to give up Abraham Toro.
Toro had a great run for Seattle down the stretch.
Yep. The Seattle in general was as exciting of a team as we saw down the stretch of the season. Got into 2nd place behind the Astros in the American League West. One away for Garcia. Graveman's numbers not as good with Houston as they were with Seattle, but he's going to play a key role once again. Their back end of the pen is very good. They have Ryan Presley, an all-star caliber closer, with 26 saves this year. The term used to describe the Astros bullpen this season was relief volatility. It was a roller coaster of a season for Houston's bullpen. obviously part of that is learning your new relievers. Garcia drives one in the air to left. Well hit, but playable for Brantley. 2 away.
Well, and new roles. Dusty Baker talked to us. He said, hey, we kind of reloaded our bullpen midseason. It took us a while to figure out what role, what inning, where guys should be slotted in. Yes, Presley's going to be their closer, but where does Graveman fit? Where does Maton fit? Where does Raley fit? I mean, it's all a little bit of a guessing game for Dusty Baker when you remake the bullpen mid-stride. He's done a great job with it. They've been better here down the stretch. Their bullpen has gotten better. They've all fit into their roles, and I like what Dusty Baker does here. He puts Graveman in a game, clean inning, 6-0, never been in a playoff game, new atmosphere. Let him get an inning in, get his feet wet.
Faces Tim Anderson here, goes after the first pitch and flares it into right field. A base hit for Tim Anderson. Had 9 of them in the wild card series last year. Gets his first of this series here, and right on cue, our StatCast is powered by Google Cloud, one of the highest swing rates in the season in Major League Baseball. If you give him a first pitch to attack, Tim Anderson can do something with it.
And here you go. He gets jammed. Ball's in on him, but he just punches that ball in front of Tucker in right field. And if the White Sox go on to lose this game, and I'm Framber Valdez pitching tomorrow, first pitch of the game, you better be very, very careful, because Tim Anderson is going to try to ambush you, make it 1-0.
Yeah, keep that in mind when we're watching game 2 tomorrow. And I would imagine, you know, obviously there's still 4 outs with which to work for the White Sox offense to try to get on the board. But when you have a rough offensive performance like this, and you go back and retool for game 2, new scouting report with a new pitcher and all that, oftentimes being aggressive ends up being something to try to get your offense going. All right, guys, we didn't do well last night. I know we were patient, but it didn't go our way. I would imagine a lot of managers, if they've been in that spot, would say, all right, let's try to be aggressive the next game out.
Well, that's one strategy. It all depends on the pitcher pitching. Valdez, the scheduled game 2 starter for the Astros, he's a ground ball guy, so he wants you to swing early. He wants you to try to chase and beat the ball into the ground. So be real careful with how you, depends on the mat. And if you're facing a Lance Lynn who's throwing you heaters, go get him early in the count. But McCullers with his breaking ball, Valdez with his sinker, got to be a little more cautious on. But I guarantee you, Tim Anderson tomorrow, if he throws him a first pitch heater, he's trying to make it 1-0 on the first pitch of the game.
3 balls and a strike on Moncada. Sox had just 1 hit in the first 6 innings of this game. They've had 4 in the last 2 frames as they've gotten into the Houston bullpen. Fouled away by Moncada. 3-2. 2 outs here in the 8th. Three-two. Anderson goes, and it's fouled back by Moncada. $40,497 the announced attendance, a sellout for this opening game of this series. Anderson goes. Moncada fouls it back once again. Moncada, the 26-year-old, originally from Cuba. Left in 2014 with permission from the Cuban government to pursue a major league career. Lands with the Boston Red Sox in 2015. Gets a little bit of a stint at the big league level in 2016. And then that December is when the Chris Sale trade took place. 3-2 again. That's upstairs. And now Jose Abreu will get an opportunity with 2 men aboard and 2 outs here in the 8th inning. It's still a long hurdle to climb, but one swing could really change the complexion of this game, and the White Sox have a few guys in this lineup that can change the game with one swing. Abreu's one of them.
Well, if Abreu's able to hit a home run here, do damage, that just makes Dusty Baker get his closer up, Presley. And it makes him get into the game in the 9th inning. Right now, if you're not going to be able to come back in this game, you at least want to get the closer into the game. Make him burn bullets. You get to see him. You get to get guys to get at bats off of him. So these at bats, although they look not that big of a deal, it's 6-0, but the hit by Anderson maybe gets him going for the rest of the series. A walk. Moncada's been the best hitter for the White Sox. If you look at his at bats, he got a single. He just missed a home run to right, and then a walk off Graveman here. So these at bats add up for tomorrow's game. If they don't come back today, you know, miracle, whatever you want to call it. It's down 6-0 in the 8th. But you see Dusty Baker talking to Brent Strom, the pitching coach. He's like, man, we need him to get out of this inning so we don't have to get Presley up. We don't want to use Presley in this situation in this game.
I told you before the game, Jose Abreu battling flu-like symptoms. Did not travel with the team originally for their original workout on Wednesday. He came separately last night from Chicago. Went through batting practice today and was deemed ready to go to DH out of his normal first base slot. Graveman pours in 98 for a strike on Abreu.
A great first pitch right there. Abreu shaking his head because he couldn't hit that pitch. Nobody can hit 98 down and in with sink running into you.
Three for 7 lifetime against Graveman with a home run. Abreu. Big cut. It's 0-2.
He's thrown him 2 sinkers, both in. That first pitch is just perfectly located. Then another 2-seamer. Abreu fouls it off his kneecap. Now he's got him set up for that slider that nobody's done anything all year off of. He also could try to throw it up, get him to chase, but I see Graveman here after 2 balls in trying to get him to chase a slider down and away, get out of this inning.
Oh-2. Did elevate that one. Maldonado threw back behind Anderson. Anderson's been taking a couple of secondary leads off the bag at second, so Maldonado trying to counter that.
You know you have a great arm and you're not even ready to throw. Anderson gets a big lead. Just fire one down there for fun.
Tossed a seed up into the second base.
He's not ready to throw this ball. He's just like, oh yeah, watch out. And he almost got him.
I think Graveman was a little surprised too by that.
Yeah, he scared Graveman more than he scared anybody else.
1-2 on Abreu. 2 on, 2 out in the 8th. In towards right. Tucker coming on. That's going to drop in front of him. Anderson's going to come around. Here comes the throw up the line. And finally, the White Sox are on the board here in the 8th. Abreu with the RBI to bring home Anderson. Moncada stops at second, and it's 6-1.
I really don't like this pitch selection. You go 4 pitches to Jose Abreu, the main RBI source in the White Sox lineup. You throw him all fastballs. This ball, granted, it gets in on him. He muscles it to right, but where's that slider that opponents hit 130 off of? Throw him a slider, punch him out, or at least try to punch him out with a slider. Instead, you're doing Abreu a favor by continuing to pump heaters in there, especially 4 in a row.
And here's Grandal now with 2 on and 2 out. Breaking ball to start, and it just missed. Crowd senses it too. This was a lineup for the White Sox that had a lot of different heroes in it over the course of the season. Grandal was one of them. Had some big moments. You see Presley loosening up now. That's exactly what Dusty Baker wanted to avoid. And now 2-0 on Grandal, who's known for grinding out at bats when need be.
And this is the nightmare scenario right now for Dusty Baker. He's cruising along 6-0. Bring in Graveman to try to get work, try to get playoffs under his belt, get some experience in a playoff atmosphere. And now they're one swing away from all hands on deck, especially Ryan Presley, their closer.
No, he was wearing a hoodie about 20 minutes ago and just walking around. Now he's loosening up. 2-0. Good breaking ball from Graveman.
And there's the slider I wanted him to throw to Jose Abreu.
Yep.
You trusted enough to throw it 2-0
yeah.
to Grandal, but you don't trust it enough 0-2 to throw it to Jose Abreu.
In the dirt, 3 balls and a strike. 5-run deficit means the tying run for the White Sox is still sitting in the dugout right now. Robert is on deck, and remember Jimenez. We've talked about the depth of the Astros lineup, and rightfully so. The Sox have a very deep lineup. They just haven't been together very often either. Jimenez would represent the tying run if somehow he could come to the plate. All of this starting with 2 outs. First 2 men were retired in this inning. Big pitch, and it's 3-2. And here they come in Houston. Trying to make some noise for Graveman. Fouled back by Grandal.
All these pitches matter, Adam. See the 24 down there by Graveman. There's a chance now he's unavailable for Dusty Baker tomorrow, no matter what happens. He's been one of their weapons out of the bullpen. Plus, it puts a little doubt in Graveman's mind if he has to come in again in a situation next time. Well, they scored off me. I'm vulnerable. All these things matter in these playoff series.
It's all cumulative over the course of the set. Another payoff pitch to Grandal coming with 2 on here in the 8th. Well struck to center. Myers is there though. And the Astros leave a couple stranded in the 8th. Graveman gets out of it. 6-1 Houston. See the 72-year-old Brent Strom with the Astros since 2014, a pitching coach, trying to settle Kendall Graveman down after he had a rocky last inning. Martin Maldonado lifts one against Ruiz to start this bottom of the 8th. High into the air for Anderson. 1 pitch, 1 out. Jose Altuve to the plate. He has scored a couple of Houston's runs tonight.
Well, he's been heavily involved in the offense. A walk, a double, 2 runs scored, a great slide. He has been in the middle of it. We talked about it in the open, him and Correa. Correa not as good of a day, not the run scored, but also been on base twice, but 3 times, excuse me, but Altuve has been in the middle of it, and that slide kind of changed the game. But the way he slid around Grandal, got their 2nd run on the board.
Altuve will take a strike. That was on the Bregman fielder's choice. Altuve scoring the 2nd Houston run. Alvarez tacked on one with an RBI double to score Bregman in that 3rd inning. That made it 3-0. Let's get a little more on Altuve from Tom Verducci.
Yeah, AJ, I'm with you on how important that base running play was. What got my attention was runner on 3rd, less than 2 outs. Look how deep McConnell is. He's playing essentially a 2 defense. 1 would be all the way up. So Altuve makes this play because he's got a great jump, but really it's his pre-pitch read. In other words, if Moncada is up even with the bags, it's not a contact play. Deeper than the bag, now he's got a chance to score the run. It's just great preparation on Altuve's part, finished off by a great slide. You guys know pretty much at the end of a night, especially in October with Jose Altuve, He's going to fill up the box score. He's typically going to have a dirty uniform, and he's going to do something small to help you win a game.
You're right, Tom. His lead was perfect. You're taught as a base runner at third base, you get as far off as the third baseman is off. So if he's closer to the bag, see that lead? He's ready to go on contact. He's going contact the whole way. He gets a great jump, great slide, but what Tom said is perfect. You get off as far as the third baseman is off. So in the shift, that's why you see guys like halfway down the line because of the shift. Well, that one, he was exactly where he should have been. Great walking lead. Great read by Altuve and an even better slide.
Well, you pointed out the play by Moncada, and it was a really good play to make. Because it was such a good play, Altuve had to be perfect in terms of his read to actually score a run, and he was.
99% of third basemen, one, don't make that play, and two, they don't throw it home. And then the other factor is 90% of base runners aren't as fast as Altuve, don't have his instincts, and don't get that jump, so they're out. So it was just a really good play by really good baseball players.
Moncada this time will get Altuve, and there are 2 away here in the 8th. So we were just talking about the read. Now the slide at the end of it is kind of the icing on the cake.
Well, in the old days, you just run the guy over, right?
You have to make adjustments
now.
now.
But Altuve, you see him, watch him, he just takes this little kind of wiggle around him. Grandal tries to block the plate. I don't think you're allowed to do that anymore, but he was safe anyways. He didn't really give him a lane. But, I mean, just pure perfection by Altuve. The read, the lead, the jump, the slide. Really put momentum on the Astros side.
There's Brantley. I think that's a key word in this game, momentum. We talked about it right at the start. And that, I imagine, is the case in a lot of playoff series in Game 1. You're just looking for something to get you off to a fast start. But that was one of the plays that got the Astros at home off to a fast start against the visiting team.
Well, it got the crowd into the game. They were up 1-0, but it was still kind of edgy, nervous, energy in here. They go up 2-0, then they add on another one in that inning, make it 3-0. The crowd's into it. The momentum's on the Astros side. They're getting to Lance Lynn. McCullers is dealing. And especially in a short playoff series, you want momentum. And you want to put pressure on the team. Whoever the team is ahead, like tomorrow when they play, if they hold on to this game, they want to jump on them again early. Start putting pressure on the White Sox. Because then, again, doubt starts creeping into the White Sox head. Here we go again.
Two balls and a strike on Brantley. Retired his first couple of times. Drove home a couple in the 4th, had an infield single in the 6th. The White Sox have not had a 1-2-3 inning tonight. Ruiz had retired the first 2 in this inning, Maldonado and Altuve, since the first inning. And Lance Lynn. He got Altuve, Brantley, and Bregman in order. And since then, there has been a lot of traffic for Houston on base.
It's what their offense does. They don't strike out a lot. They put the ball in play. They keep pressure on the opponents. They hit for extra base hits. We've seen doubles. We've seen home runs tonight out of the Astros.
Popped up. Moncada's there. 1-2-3 frame. It'll be Robert, Jimenez, and Sheets due up in the top of the 9th inning for the White Sox. Last chance in Game 1. So the White Sox do get to Ryan Pressly in this 9th inning. Dusty Baker just trying to make it an easier 9th inning, and Robert, Jimenez, and Sheets all due up. So at the very least, you consider this a victory for the White Sox to get Pressly in a game where it's a 5-run cushion?
They would have much rather had it be a save situation. The heart rate goes up, the adrenaline kicks in a little bit more. Maybe get him in the bottom or the top of the 8th, excuse me, with guys on base. So he has to maybe go an inning in the 3rd, something like that. But this is also Dusty Baker getting his closer into the game to get comfortable, like he tried to do with Graveman. Now he's trying to do it with Pressly.
Quickly 0-2 on Robert. Pressly with a strong season, and as you mentioned, the bullpen had been up and down at times, but Pressly has been, for the most part, rock solid back there. 32-year-old, best season of his career.
And his slider is his pitch. Like Graveman we talked about, Presley's slider has been almost as good. That's his go-to pitch, his out pitch. He throws it 36% of the time. So when in doubt, he's going to throw you a slider.
Got a curveball he'll mix in as well. That's got the speed drop off. The velocity drops off on the curve. You'll be able to tell. 1-2 on Luis Robert. There was the breaking ball. No swing. Two. Breaking ball popped up into a tough spot in the outfield, though, and that's going to drop down for a base hit. Luis Robert with a couple of knocks in his last 2 trips. Leadoff man is aboard here in the 9th for the White Sox. And predict which players will stack the most total bases each day during the postseason and compete to win $20,000. Enter MLB Base Chase, presented by Michelob Ultra at MLB.com/base chase. See official rules for details. So Robert hit by a pitch, reached on an error, and now a couple of singles. And now Jimenez, 1 for 3, a single his last time in the 7th. He was the last batter that Lance McCullers Jr. faced today. Big cut on that slider.
See, I wouldn't call that a slider. That's almost a cutter.
Feels more like a cut to you?
His curveball is almost a true slider. His slider is super. It's almost like a micro slider. It's super small, super tight. I know they call it a slider, but it's almost a cutter.
Same velocity right around there for that pitch. So this is 2 tosses ago.
But see how small that is?
Yeah,
that's not a huge
yeah.
break. It's not vertical. It's just a very small cutter-like break. It has the slider spin, but the velocity in the break makes it more of a cutter type.
So is that kind of away from your expectation, maybe what the path of the ball is if you're a hitter at the plate?
Well, no,
you still kind of expect it in the same general area.
Right?
Okay.
You've seen Presley. You've watched video. Most of these guys have faced Presley, so they know what he has. But to call it a slider is a little bit reaching. I feel like it's more of a cutter. Plus the velocity, 91.
91 on those
92,
pitches. Yeah.
That's Mariano Rivera cutter at 92, right? That wasn't a slider. Broke like a slider, but it was a cutter.
He's ahead of Jimenez. 1-2. Nobody out in the 9th. Missed a little bit low.
Something I'm looking for if I'm a White Sox hitter. They've really tried to pitch backwards. A lot of the Astros have to a lot of these guys. A lot of off speed early. They keep trying to sneak that fastball at 2 strikes. We just saw it there to Jimenez. We talked about it to Abreu.
That one skips to Maldonado, and on to second base goes Robert.
This game's starting to get a little bit interesting. I know it's still 6-1. Presley's not. Doesn't look exactly comfortable.
Right.
White Sox the last few innings have had a bunch of hits, a lot of traffic on the bases. Dusty Baker sitting over there, just, can't you guys make this easy on me and just get 3 quick outs and get me out of here so I can get some dinner and watch the game tonight on FS1?
Seven runners over the last 3 frames for the White Sox offense. That's a very tough pitch to pick up, that fastball. Jimenez frozen.
Perfect pitch here by Presley. Cross seam, 4-seam. Just right on the outside corner, and I guarantee you Jimenez was looking for a slider cutter. The way he took that, he was late getting ready. Just wasn't expecting that pitch in that location.
One down for Sheets. And Maldonado and Presley trying to make sure they're on the right page with a runner at second base here.
Correa running in circles out there around Luis Robert. Thought there was going to be a mound visit. Wanted to hear the conversation, then turned around.
So he thinks it's going to be a mound visit. Maldonado's ready to go, and then, oh, all right, okay.
I think Robert's looking at him going, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Here's a 1-0. Big cut from Sheets.
Second time Presley's thrown a pitch and then looked at the mound. When he threw that wild pitch curveball, he kind of looked at the mound. He almost fell over. That one, I don't know if he slipped or what, but that's the second time he's thrown a pitch and just looked down at the mound like something's wrong. At your home park, you're supposed to get it how you want it.
Right. Sheets a good pull power hitter. He was trying to pull one there, but the breaking ball came down and in on him. 1-2. One-two. Sheets spoils a good pitch there. Back to what you talked about, AJ, here.
Just a little bit of an awkward landing. Doesn't slip. It's just, whoa, he kind of, I don't know, he bounces around. Doesn't look comfortable. Moves the dirt around. Kind of flexing his leg between pitches.
1-2 again. And another pitch spoiled by Sheets. Hit 11 home runs this season in his rookie campaign. All of them were pulled.
And again, these pitches add up. He's at 16 pitches, only has one out. Again, this is the cumulative effect of a series. If they get him to 20, 25 pitches, even if they don't come back, they need him tomorrow. Is there effect for tomorrow? If they're in a one-run game, Presley has to come in. All these pitches matter in short series, especially.
2-2. Both of these managers have been through the ringer in their careers in the postseason. Baker still seeking his first World Series title. 3 of them for Tony La Russa. Two balls and 2 strikes on Sheets. 3-2. Brent Strom feeling a little uneasy as well.
A lot of pacing going on in that Astros dugout for a 5-run lead in the 9th inning and your closer on the mound.
Hard hit, but foul. And zip past Darryl Boston, the first base coach. Eight pitches in this at bat. Graveman is a guy that has gone deep into games. Remember, he was a starter at one point, and then you got Presley here, who has been very sharp in the 9th for the most part. 2 guys that have been extended in ways that maybe the Astros weren't expecting. Check swing. Oh, he got rung up at home plate. Rung up at home plate. Adam Hammery Look down the third base side. Hammery just put up his fist. Vic Carapaz is the third base umpire.
I didn't think it was close. Maybe it was closer than I thought, but I sure thought from up here, our vantage point, but the replay show, he went a little bit farther than I thought. Yeah,
on that angle, it looks a little bit more obvious.
And Adam Hamari behind the plate, you know what? He did the right thing. He checked to Vic Carapazza down at third base, and he rings him up for a huge second out for the Astros. And this meeting right here with Brent Strom is just, hey, this is a breather.
Yep.
There's 2 outs. Let's just try to get a quick out. You're already at 20 pitches. We don't want to extend you any farther.
So now 2 down, and Engel coming up. Don't forget, when we're done here at Tropicana Field, it'll be game 1 between the Red Sox and the Rays. White Sox and Astros game 2 tomorrow on MLB Network. Braves and Brewers will get going on TBS. Red Sox Rays game 2 on FS1. And don't forget that the Dodgers and Giants will get going as well on TBS. And a full day of playoff baseball tomorrow. Here's Engel. Last chance for the White Sox to extend the game. Goes after the first one. It's over Presley. Altuve bare hands and throws in time, and game 1 belongs to Houston. Altuve played a key role in the start offensively for Houston. Makes a slick play to close game 1 to get the speedy Engel.
Only fitting out Jose Altuve would end this game with a really nice defensive play. Bare hands it, the speedy Engel hustling down the line, gets him by half a step. Great win for the Houston Astros to open this series. Great job from Lance McCullers Jr. No walks, biggest stat of the game. Astros up 1-0 in this series.
White Sox made it tough on Houston's bullpen down the late innings in game 1. We'll see how that plays out in game 2, if at all. Game 2 will take place tomorrow afternoon from Houston. These are the probables. Framber Valdez, a left-hander. White Sox hit left-handed pitching very well this season, and saw Valdez a couple of times. Lucas Giolito will get the ball in game 2. You knew it was going to be Lynn, Giolito in some order to open up this series in Houston. Lynn went today. It'll be Giolito tomorrow for the White Sox.
Well, Valdez pitched once really well against the White Sox, and once he got whacked around pretty good by the White Sox. So interesting matchup with the lefties. Giolito has been good against the Astros in his career. So a very good matchup tomorrow. And if I'm the Astros, watch out for an angry White Sox team tomorrow. They're going to be hyper aggressive, especially early in the game. So if you can survive, you have a chance tomorrow.
A 6-1 Astros victory in the opener of this series. We'll have plenty more coming up from our guys in studio back in Houston. They'll connect with us and we'll get a chance to wrap things up further. But a 6-1 Houston Astros victory for AJ and Tom. We'll have more coming up. Adam sending you to LA for more coverage.